great. मेरी आवाज सबको आ रही है? Okay. A good morning to all of you who are here and to all of those who are joining us online. तो मेरे way of communication ऐसा रहेगा कि मैं क्योंकि उनसे डायरेक्ट अभी बात तो नहीं करूँगा, but will be receiving questions through chat and all that. So अभी right before we started, I was having a discussion, general discussion on what made you attend this workshop, and we are having a mix of fair idea about the interest in NLP and how it can benefit you. Now that I'll be taking you on this 3-hour journey. Be with me, and let's hope that we get a good takeaway out of it. I'll try to. Sat, can you help me out here? Okay. I think I got it. Sorry. Thank you. So, we're talking about Neuro Linguistic Programming. Let me take you on a history tour of this. What happened in 1970 there is one gentleman, Richard Bandler. Actually, there's John Grinder first. He is a linguistic professor from University of California, USA. So, and he joined with Frank Korslik and an undergraduate, Richard Bandler. Basically, ये दो ग्राइंडर और बैंडर दोनों का काम इसमें ज़्यादा है, but historically अगर आप देखें तो ये 3 लोग थे. अच्छा, what they did is they studied and modeled Fritz Perls, एक साइकेट्रिस्ट थे, और उन्होंने एक अपना गेस्टाल्ट थेरेपी इजाद की थी अपनी फील्ड में. एंड देन दे स्टडीड वर्जीनिया सेटायर, वो फैमिली थेरेपिस्ट थी, एंड मिल्टन एरिक्सन, वो हिप्नोथेरेपिस्ट थे. अच्छा, ये 3 लोग अपनी अपनी फील्ड में ना बहुत एक्सपर्ट और चैंपियन थे. they were really expert and champion in their fields, but they were doing their work unconsciously. तो रिचर्ड बैंडलर, ग्राइंडर और फ्रैंक ने जब मिल के ना उन्होंने ये डिसाइड किया कि हमने एक्सप्लिकेट करना है ये परफॉर्मेंस ऑफ द जीनियसेस को. क्या मैजिक है इनकी थेरेपी में, ये किस तरीके से इतने सक्सेसफुल होते हैं, इसको हमने स्टडी करा. यानी इन शॉर्ट, व्हाट इज द success formula behind a successful person that he or she is using to attain that success. अच्छा, तो ये मॉडलर जो थे, जॉन ग्राइंडर, रिचर्ड बैंडलर एंड फ्रैंक, इन्होंने ये अनकॉन्शियसली एब्जॉर्ब किया द पैटर्निंग इनहेरेंट इन दीज 3 जीनियसेस. तो लेकिन फिर उसके बाद इन्होंने लैंग्वेज बेस्ड मॉडल्स के थ्रू द लैंग्वेज बेस्ड मॉडल सच एज ट्रांसफॉर्मेशनल ग्रामर एंड ऑल अदर वेज they decoded consciously what the geniuses do. मैंने थोड़ा सा इसमें important part है ना, I've just highlighted in red so you can understand what I'm trying to say here because it contains a lot of language. तो as a result हुआ क्या कि जॉन ग्राइंडर और रिचर्ड बैंडलर ने उन्होंने सबसे पहले अपनी NLP ट्रेनिंग ऑफर की. कोर्सेज थे, the patterns that geniuses were applying which proved that the NLP models were transferable to others. And the learners could use the NLP model successfully in their own work as well as NLP coach as well. In short, what we are talking about is, I see a person who is an excellent performer, a sports person, for example. How would you relate Muhammad Ali in boxing? Okay, now he was a world champion. He was a super performer in his own field. What about if anybody wanted to learn what he does or what he do to achieve that success and learn that in a structured way? So what's best that you have got to do? First you have to model him. First you have to observe him and understand him. कि वो कैसे अपने रिंग में अपनी मूवमेंट कैसे करता है, how he moves, how he play his punches and what kind of tactics he apply on his opponent. You have to observe that completely. और फिर उसके बाद सिर्फ observance नहीं है. It's not just observance. You can codify it. You can write it down. You can codify and structure that. And once you are able to do that, you can learn it. And the height of it is that not just learn it yourself, but you can teach others. You can pass it on to others. This is what one of the objectives of NLP is about, right? So, what NLP Then N stands for neuro. Okay? Your thinking process, basically. Linguistic is your words and the language that you use with yourself and as others as well. Okay? And programming is basically your behavior. The way you organize your ideas and actions. We will look into it in detail in the next slide. It is अगर मैं shortly कहूँ ना, it is the study of the structure of subjective experiences. अभी जो मैंने आपको मिसाल दी, the example that I gave is if you want to study Muhammad Ali in boxing and what is he doing, you have to study it and structure it out and codify it. That's what you do basically through NLP. We discover our unique excellence. Neuro is our brain and physiology. We learn about the habits stored in our unconscious mind. I will come to this unconscious mind and mind business in a while. Awareness हम increase करते हैं अपनी thinking पे, action patterns, behavior, and how we influencing the results. Linguistic is the language we use to communicate with. मैंने ourselves को जरा बड़ा करके लिखा है. Because most of the time you are basically, when you are in your internal dialogue, most of the day you are talking to yourself. And it's less time that you are talking to others. Okay? Whether it be a verbal communication or non-verbal communication. We will look into the body language aspect as well when we are going through that. Achha, programming, the way we put the styles of thinking, language and behavior together to get the results we do, good or bad, abhi main isko label nahi kar raha. Okay? What we want to do, what we do to achieve that. Programming our nervous system. NLP is the discovery of what works, no matter what the context. आपके लाइफ में किस किस्म का चैलेंज आ रहा है, क्या सिचुएशन आ रही है, किसी भी तरह की सिचुएशन आए, किसी भी तरह का चैलेंज आए, उसमें आपके लिए काम क्या करेगा, NLP आपको ये डिस्कवर करके देता है. Okay, NLP lets you discover what is going to work in whatever context that you are facing. Okay. Now, ये तो हमने समझ लिया, लेकिन अभी भी why NLP? Just because I just told you कि इसमें एक नया एरिया है, नई फील्ड्स हैं और ये नई चीज़ है, न्यूरो को आप अंडरस्टैंड करेंगे, you understand the language and then you understand the programming part. Still, why NLP? Why we are talking about this today? इसको let's see. Now be very honest and very candid about it. कि अगर इनमें से कोई चीज़ या issues आप face करते हैं. Do you face sometimes? Yes? I can't do it. बड़ा मुश्किल है. ये मेरे बस की बात नहीं है. Okay. It's so hard to decide on it. It's difficult for me to take a decision, right? So should I stay? Should I go? Should I do this? Should I do that? So we come to a dilemma where our decisions are being puzzled. If only I'm sure it is the best way to handle the situation you're in. I know there is a way, but I'm not sure it's the best way or not. Right? We do face this kind of thing in life. Okay? I must come up with a good counter narrative on this. Somebody has said something to me and now I am fighting in my mind about, what counter narrative that I can produce on that. Okay? कि हम उसका जवाब क्या देंगे? तो और ये मुझे जरूर देना है जवाब इस पे. I feel as if I'm not given the due importance that I should get. यार मुझे कोई अहमियत ही नहीं देते. They don't think I'm that important according to my skills and knowledge and all that. I don't think I'm being gauged properly. Right? It is difficult to make them understand sometimes. Whether it be social circle, whether it be your friends, families, work colleagues, your bosses, right? Social media, so in social media you have quite a time you have issues here. I posted this and this, look at the comments here. I mean, they just don't understand, right? Okay. This is opposite to come up with a good counter narrative. I smacked his criticism to floor with my response. मैंने ऐसा जवाब दिया कि बस उसको उसकी तबीयत साफ कर दी. Right? कभी ऐसा भी होता है. So what is driving you in that? ना जो driving जवाब देना जो है वो अमन आपको drive कर रहा है इसके ऊपर. Whether you need it or not. ठीक है? अच्छा. Whatever I learn is lost to my routine after few days or week. होता है. I'm expecting कि ये वर्कशॉप ऐसी ना हो और यहाँ का जो टेक अवे वो आपका बेहतर हो, बट समटाइम यू डू अटेंड अ वर्कशॉप और सेशन और फिर उसके बाद आपको वो जो है वो लूज कर जाते हैं. फ्यू वीक्स के बाद आप अपनी रूटीन पे आए होते हैं. अच्छा, इफ एनी ऑफ द अबव हैज बीन इन योर एक्सपीरियंसेस, एनएलपी विल ग्रेटली बेनिफिट यू. वैसे ये लिस्ट एग्जॉस्टिव नहीं है. These are just few things that I have mentioned in the list. The list can go till infinity. जो भी फैक्टर्स है, ठीक है. और बाजू का हम समझते हैं कि कुछ फैक्टर्स अच्छे होते हैं, ठीक है, अच्छे नहीं होते. वो हमारी एक पर्सनैलिटी को एक टाइप या ट्रेट जो है उसका डेवलप कर रहे होते हैं. अच्छा, आज का जो वॉक थ्रू होगा ना हमारा, वो बेसिकली इन टॉपिक्स पे होगा. We'll be going through these topics, how our mind works, and there is a management of something. I deliberately strike it out. And personality types and sensory patterns, mind filters that we use, and conceiver patterns and the convincing patterns as well on that. Body language, communication strategies. इसमें मैं आपको एक एक करके ले जाऊंगा. Don't need to remember all of this right now. और ये जब आगे टॉपिक्स आएंगे तो फिर उसके ऊपर हम आगे चल के बात करते चले जाएंगे. What is a prerequisite to NLP? Yeah, as a matter of fact, a prerequisite to any great learning. What could that be? कोई मुझे आंसर करे. अच्छा, those who are online can actually send their answers through chat or questions through chat. We'll have a 5-minute break in between. तो हम वहाँ questions जो online जो attend कर रहे हैं उनकी questions को हम address भी करेंगे. What is the greatest prerequisite? क्या होना चाहिए आपके पास किसी भी great learning से पहले?
Curiosity होनी चाहिए.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. This is exactly what I put on this slide. तो कुछ कहते हैं कैपेबिलिटी, कुछ कहते हैं कि स्किल, कुछ कहते हैं कि आपका वो टाइम और कुछ वो, लेकिन बट द फर्स्ट एंड फॉरमोस्ट थिंग इज क्यूरियोसिटी. राइट? इफ यू आर नॉट क्यूरियस अबाउट इट, यू आर नॉट गोइंग टू लर्न इट. यू विल नो अबाउट इट बट यू विल नॉट लर्न इट. ओके? Einstein once said, I have no special talent, I'm just passionately curious about everything, how it works and किस तरह ये काम करती है. Next important quality to have NLP in all aspects of life is curiosity. तो आ गई. So what's next? By the way, ये इसको आइंस्टाइन ने भी मेंशन किया था. अगर मैं आपको हिंट दूँ तो if you read somewhere. क्यूरियोसिटी हो गई. उसके बाद लर्निंग है. ये लर्निंग को जो हम आगे बढ़ाते हैं उसके लिए, हाँ, excellent, excellent. I'm having an excellent group today. Mashallah. It looks like I'm going to be learning something from you all. Thank you. Yes, this is what we are talking about. क्योंकि every great invention, every great idea, every great concept starts here first. ठीक है? If you are an inventor, you invent it here first. अब ये हमारा काम जो करता है वो हमारा जो ब्रेन, उसके बाद जो माइंड है, ब्रेन के अंदर जो माइंड है, मैं अभी इसको एक्सप्लेन भी करूँगा, वहाँ से स्टार्ट होता है. अच्छा, थोड़ा सा हम एक एक्सरसाइज करते हैं. What is reality?
Whatever we see with our senses or feel or
ठीक
the
है.
present day.
What is around you? What we see?
What we see,
feel?
the present is our reality.
Okay. अब कुछ और क्वेश्चन आ गए. What is your map of reality? Second question पे आ गए.
अपने इमोशनल स्टेट में प्रेजेंट इमोशनल स्टेट अंडरस्टैंडिंग मेंटल स्टेट से परसीव कर सकते हैं इन दी सराउंडिंग्स.
Excellent. So what will be the meaning of reality? अच्छा, how free are we to choose our actions towards reality? क्या हम जो रियलिटी है उसको जिस तरह हमने परसीव किया उसके बारे में हम क्या डिसाइड करना चाहते हैं या किस तरह हम क्या एक्शन लेना चाहते हैं उसमें हम किसी हद तक फ्री हैं या नहीं हैं? हाँ, तो आप इसे बस कॉम्प्लिकेट अभी ना करें, आप उसको ये सोचें कि आप फ्री हैं या नहीं हैं. अभी इसके ऊपर एक वर्डिक्ट देना है आपको, जज बन के एक फैसला देना है. To some degree, to some extent, the house would agree on that. ठीक है, तो कुछ लिमिटिंग फैक्टर भी होंगे ना. Let's discuss that. Okay. असल में NLP आपको ना ये कम्युनिकेशन मॉडल समझना बहुत जरूरी है. अगर आपको ये कम्युनिकेशन मॉडल समझ आ गया, if you understand this communication model, then you will understand half of NLP or even more than that. Okay. What's happening? External events is the reality that you see. ठीक है, और आपकी जो कैपेसिटी होती है वो होती है 11 मिलियन बिट्स पर सेकंड ऑब्जर्व करने की. ओके, नाउ वी हैव दिस विजुअल, ऑडिटरी, काइनेस्थेटिक, ऑल्फैक्टरी एंड गैस्ट्रेटरी. दीज आर द 5 सेंसेस. ओके, वी विल बी स्टडीइंग दैट लेटर ऑन. मगर क्या होता है कि वी सी दैट, वी आइदर फील इट, वी आइदर hear something, or we taste something, or we touch something, and that's how. Then what happens is there are some filters that works here before once it's going in. They delete, distort, and generalize. How many of you आप इसको ड्राइव करके आए हैं? Some of you driven here today. Okay. How many red cars did you observe today whilst you were driving to the university? You can't be sure. Okay. Okay. What about, I tell you one day that you decided if you wanted to buy a red car, okay, and then you start driving to university. Would you be observing red cars on the road? Yes? So what you're doing today is you are deleting every red car that you see. You don't register it because that's not one of your objectives. Okay? So this is deletion. And distortion is when you put your own meanings to something. This means that. इसका तो मतलब ये है. ये तो, this is what it means. So when you are imposing your own meaning to it, then you are distorting it. Okay. And then the last thing generalizes, all men are bad. The people of this area are always like that. Okay? Women are always, this. You can put the words, statements, whatever. That what you're doing is you're generalizing it. ठीक है? तो हम क्या करते हैं कि हम ये 3 चीजें ना ये रन कर देते हैं उस तमाम चीजों पे जो हमें बाहर से दिख रही है. ओके, जो रियलिटी आ रही है उसके ऊपर हम ये 3 फिल्टर्स लगा के उन चीजों को या तो डिलीट कर रहे हैं, डिस्टॉर्ट कर रहे हैं या जनरलाइज कर रहे हैं. अच्छा, बाय द वे इट्स नॉट अ वेरी बैड थिंग. समटाइम यू नीड टू डू दैट. क्योंकि अगर आपको रेड कार नहीं चाहिए and if you are driving to the university, observing red car would consume your mental resources. Okay? But try to understand that your brain deletes this. अच्छा, अब वो किसके पीछे, उस डिलीशन, डिस्टॉर्शन और जनरलाइज होने के पीछे जो बाहर से आपको इंफॉर्मेशन आ रही है उसके पीछे ये जो फिल्टर लगे हुए हैं, why, on what basis are they working? They are working on the basis of the time, space, matter, energy, the language, your memories, your decision, your meta programs, your values and beliefs, that's important, and the attitudes that you have inside. So that basically that is your model of the world, which filters out everything that you see from your environment and use mostly these 3 filters. इसकी बेस पे ये फिल्टर लगने के बाद और इन चीज़ों की एक्ट परफॉर्म करने के बाद आपकी इंटरनल रिप्रेजेंटेशन शुरू हो जाती है. फिर वहां से इंटरनल रिप्रेजेंटेशन, अगर सड़क पे आप 2 लोगों को झगड़ा करते हुए देखें और एक शख्स दूसरे को मार रहा है तो आपकी इंटरनल रिप्रेजेंटेशन तो फौरन ये कहेगी कि जो मारने वाला है ये एग्रेसर है. ठीक है? This is normally. It is according to the program that's fed in your brain. Okay? अच्छा, हो सकता है रियलिटी को डिफरेंट हो सकता है रियलिटी ये हो जो अग्रेसर है वो थोड़ी देर पहले तक वो पिट रहा हो और उसको मौका लगाओ कि आपको जाके वो जवाब दे सके. But the moment you see it, you interpret it according to what's been already fed in your brain, the value and beliefs that you feel. अच्छा, उसके नतीजे में आपकी ना एक स्टेट डेवलप हो जाती है. स्टेट क्या डेवलप होगी? Either you will be angry, either you will be good, feeling bad. सबसे पहली दो स्टेट्स होती हैं. फिर उसके बाद उसके सब मॉडलिटीज आ जाएंगी. एंगर है, स्ट्रेस है, फियर है, और उसके नतीजे में आपकी फिजियोलॉजी ना वो डेवलप हो जाती है और उस फिजियोलॉजी से आपका बिहेवियर आ जाता है. If you see an event and you get angry about it, what will you be doing? First you get angry and then you डिटेस्ट होंगे या कोई कमेंट देंगे या कुछ और करेंगे, कोई ना कोई ऐसा काम करेंगे कि जिससे आपका एंगर जो है वो एग्जिबिट हो. योर एंगर इज बीइंग एग्जिबिटेड आउटसाइड. ओके, द वे दिस मॉडल वर्क्स कि हमेशा हम जो कुछ भी हमें एक्सटर्नल इवेंट से मिलता है ना, हम उसे इन 3 फिल्टर से गुजारते हैं. उसके बाद हमारे अपने पीछे ये पैटर्न्स काम करते हैं. उसके नतीजे में हमारा बिहेवियर एमिनेट होता है. ओके, तो अब आपको अंदाजा होगा कि यू आर एक्चुअली नॉट फ्री टू रिस्पॉन्ड. काफी हद तक आप ना बाउंड हैं इन चीजों की वजह से. सो वी रिस्पॉन्ड टू आवर मैप ऑफ रियलिटी, नॉट द रियलिटी इन इट्स एंटायरिटी. डू यू अंडरस्टैंड दिस लाइन नाउ? You are not responding to the reality, you are responding to how you perceive the reality, your map of reality. Okay? So next important discovery here is, इससे हमें एक और discovery पता चलती है. What would that be?
Everybody has different map of reality.
Exactly. इसको हम अगर यूँ कहें ना, all meaning that we give to events, things, people, behavior are subjective. Okay? They are subjective because what the meanings that you perceive is according to you. वो आपने वो देखी ना कि एक जगह पे 2 लोग खड़े हैं और एक बीच में 6 लिखा हुआ है, तो एक को वो 6 दिख रहा है और दूसरी तरफ खड़ा उसको 9 दिख रहा है. ठीक है? So all meaning that you give to the reality is subjective. Okay? ये हजम करना थोड़ा मुश्किल होता है कि जी हमारा जो मीनिंग हमने बना लिया ये हो सकता है कि असल मीनिंग इससे कुछ डिफरेंट हो. जो हम बना रहे हैं वो हमें बहुत पसंद है, तो लेकिन वो होता सब्जेक्टिव. यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट. अच्छा, सेम इवेंट वुड बी डिफरेंटली टू 2 डिफरेंट पर्सन ऑब्जर्विंग इट साइमल्टेनियसली. ओके, अब हम थोड़ा सा प्रोसीड करने से पहले हम थोड़ी सी बैकग्राउंड इन्फो दे देते हैं. ओके, some students are related to medical, especially अगर वो medical या related fields के लोग बताना चाहें. What's the difference between brain and mind? We use these 2 things interchangeably, 2 terms. But what is exactly the difference between your brain and your mind? When I say your brain, and when I say your mind, why am I using these 2 words?
Brain is the hardware and mind is the software.
अच्छा.
Brain is an organ and mind is the capability of thinking.
Okay. Great. Any other viewpoint?
Same.
They are same.
It looks like you are going to be teaching me today. Okay, let's see. Acha, what's the difference between unconscious and conscious mind? We also use these 2 terms. And then there is another term also, subconscious, but I'm talking about, let's presume I'm talking about subconscious or unconscious as the same. What's the difference?
Unconscious mind is relatable to involuntary actions and conscious mind is relatable to voluntary actions.
Unconscious mind is something that it's very much hidden. We don't know much about our unconscious thoughts, but it acts upon
Part of our nature
conscious
or
thoughts. Conscious is some कि हम लोग क्या सोच रहे हैं, क्या समझ रहे हैं. We are knowing this thing.
Conscious is the present thing and the unconscious is just like कंप्यूटर में जो करते हैं ना, हमारा जो बैकअप है.
Conscious mind is the actor and the unconscious mind is the director who is giving the directions to the actor.
Yes, unconscious is the director.
So we can understand from that example.
Yes.
That's very right. That conscious mind is our thinking body and unconscious mind is the program body. Okay. What percentage of our thoughts, actions, behavior are driven by unconscious mind?
70%.
Okay, we'll see in the next slide. Processing capacity of conscious mind, any idea? Computer के आप bits per second के अंदर अगर होंगे, if we want to understand that. चलें, we'll see it on the next slides. You were right about brain being the physical organ, the tangible, the hardware. Brain is something that you can, if you open the skull, a surgeon can see or touch it. Okay? That's your physiological organ. Mind is the realm of consciousness, thoughts, emotions, your software, what is running in this. Okay? So now, when we are having a discussion in future, you will know what we meant by when we say, क्या तुम्हारे माइंड में क्या चल रहा है, ठीक है? We hardly say कि तुम्हारे ब्रेन में क्या चल रहा है. तो फ्रॉड ने एक आइसबर्ग एनालॉजी दी थी. उसने कहा था कि जी कॉन्शियस माइंड इज ओनली दिस मच. Okay, and then we have a pre-conscious mind and then we have an unconscious mind. But we can take that these two together as the unconscious mind. होता ये है कि pre-conscious mind में जो चीजें स्टोर होती हैं वो जरा कुछ ही रिलेटेड हो जाती हैं, और unconscious mind में जो चीजें स्टोर होती हैं वो डीप स्टोर होती हैं. तो वो उतना यानी मेमोरीज, डिजायर्स, फीलिंग, तो ये चीजें उसके अंदर चली जाती हैं. Let's instead of wasting time on text, वो जो 70% का जवाब था ना, वो एक्चुअली ये 95%, अराउंड 95%, ठीक है? बिकॉज वी आर इवॉल्विंग. अभी तक जो हमें एक अंदाजा हुआ है रिसर्च और तमाम चीज़ों से, वो ये 95%. नाउ विल पावर, क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग, लॉजिक, शॉर्ट टर्म मेमोरी, ये सब आपको जो आपका माइंड लेके चल रहा है, कॉन्शियस माइंड है, और ये आपको सिर्फ 5% रन करता है. ये वो माइंड है जिससे आप PhD पास कर रहे हैं, जिससे आप थीसिस लिख रहे हैं, जिससे आप आने वाले मसलों को डील कर रहे हैं, जिससे आप समझ रहे हैं कि मैं ये सारे काम करके चैंपियन हूँ. एंड ऑल व्हाट यू आर बीइंग ड्रिवन बाय इज ओनली 5% ऑफ योर माइंड. तो ये जितने भी दुनिया में जो आपकी अचीवमेंट्स हैं वो आप इसके थ्रू कर रहे हैं. मगर हु यू आर, व्हाई यू आर डूइंग व्हाट यू आर डूइंग, ठीक है, ये सारा एरिया जो है वो यहाँ पे लाई करता है. यहाँ पे आपके बिलीव्स पड़े हुए हैं, आपके इमोशंस पड़े हुए हैं, आपके प्रोटेक्टिव रिएक्शंस पड़े हुए हैं, आपकी लॉन्ग टर्म मेमोरी पड़ी हुई है, एंड देन पैटर्न्स हैं, वैल्यूज हैं, इमेजिनेशन है, फियर, इंट्यूशन, एंड देन इट कंट्रोल्स ऑल द सिस्टम्स इन द बॉडी. आपका हार्ट बीट कर रहा है, सोच के अगर करें तो किसी दिन भूल गए आप हार्ट बीट कराना, तो क्या होगा? तो अल्लाह ने ये काम ना इसको दिया हुआ है, ठीक है? क्योंकि आप तो कभी भूल भी सकते हैं ना. तो गर्म चीज को हाथ लगता है, फौरन रिएक्शन आता है, उस वक्त आप सोचते हैं, या रिएक्शन पहले आ जाता है? रिएक्शन इसलिए पहले आ जाता है कि दिस गाय इज एट वर्क, ठीक है ना? और वो आपका जिससे आप सोचते हैं कि आप PhD करके चैंपियन बनेंगे, वो उसको हो सकता है सोचने में देर हो जाए. इसलिए अल्लाह ने आपके उसमें ब्रेन में ना ये सॉरी माइंड में इस तरह सिस्टम रखा है. अच्छा, कॉन्शियस माइंड की स्पीड अगर हम असेस करें ना, तो एक जनरल अंदाजे के मुताबिक इट वर्क्स ऑन 40 बिट्स पर सेकंड. कंप्यूटर स्पीड को आप ले लें एक रेफरेंस ना, 40 बिट्स ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन पर सेकंड ये प्रोसेस कर सकता है. गिव और टेक, ये थोड़ी बहुत फिगर अप डाउन हो सकती है, मगर अनकॉन्शियस के मुकाबले में ये बहुत डिफरेंट है. एंड द इम्पल्स स्पीड, द स्पीड एट विच द इलेक्ट्रिकल सिग्नल्स ट्रैवल विद इन द न्यूरॉन इज 100 to 150 miles per hour inside your brain. जो न्यूरॉन्स में जो ट्रैवलिंग हो रही है, कॉन्शियस माइंड के हिस्से में ये इस तरह रहती है. अनकॉन्शियस माइंड, it can start from 11 and it goes to 400 Mbps, not bits per second, 400 megabits per second. Okay, and it's actually 275,000 times faster than your conscious mind. अच्छा, इम्पल्स स्पीड यहाँ 100 और 150 थी, ओवर देयर इज 100,000 माइल्स पर आवर. और इसको अगर हम यूँ एक्सप्लेन करें कि इट कैन रजिस्टर एन इमेज इन 13 मिली सेकेंड्स. 13 मिली सेकेंड्स में रजिस्टर करने की कैपेसिटी को 1 सेकेंड में कितने कहेंगे? योर अनकॉन्शियस माइंड कैन रजिस्टर 13,000 इमेजेस इन 1 सेकेंड. ये अलग बात है कि हम उसकी उस कैपेसिटी को रीच नहीं करते, वी डोंट यूज दैट। ओके, अच्छा अगली एज में ये यूज होता है जब हम अप टू 7 years हमारी लाइफ में पीरियड है ना, वो गोल्डन पीरियड है अनकॉन्शियस माइंड को डेवलप करने का। इसलिए हम ये कहते हैं कि 2-3 चीजें मैं इससे हट के आपको बताता हूँ। तरबियत, द वे यू ब्रिंग अप योर चिल्ड्रन राइट फ्रॉम द स्टार्ट ऑफ प्रेगनेंसी अप टिल द एज ऑफ 7 years ऑफ अ चाइल्ड, ये वो पीरियड है जिसमें आपको अपने इर्द गिर्द, अपनी सराउंडिंग, अपने क्या आप सुन रहे हैं, अगर मदर आप क्या सुन रही हैं और वो इर्द गिर्द के लोग क्या कह रहे हैं, आपके एनवायरमेंट में क्या बातें चल रही हैं, और इन चीज़ों में आप कोशिश करें कि पॉजिटिविटी रखें, नॉलेज रखें और अपनी इल्मी सलाहियत को बढ़ाएं और अपने इर्द गिर्द पॉजिटिविटी रखें। क्योंकि वो जो बच्चा जो इवन जैसे उसमें रूह दाखिल होती है 4th month के बाद ना, उसके बाद से उसकी अनकॉन्शियस माइंड की डेवलपमेंट शुरू होती है। इट्स अब्सॉर्बिंग एवरीथिंग, साउंड्स, टच, फीलिंग, और फिर वो जो व्हाट इट डज, जो छोटा बच्चा होता है उसको हम क्या कर रहे होते हैं कि समटाइम हम उसे ना राइट और रॉन्ग पढ़ाने बैठ जाते हैं। ठीक है, अप टू द एज ऑफ 7 years फॉर हिम और हर देयर इज नथिंग राइट और नथिंग रॉन्ग, देयर आर ओनली 2 things, फील गुड एंड फील बैड। तभी आप देखेंगे वो कुछ लोगों के पास वो आके हक करेगा और वो उनके साथ अटैच होगा, कुछ लोगों से वो डिटेस्ट होगा। ठीक है, तो वो अनकॉन्शियस माइंड में सारा कुछ प्रोग्राम जा रहा है, सब कुछ रजिस्टर हो रहा है। उसकी जो इमेज कैपेसिटी है उस एज में बहुत ज्यादा होती है और बाद में जाके स्लो डाउन होना शुरू होता है। अच्छा, छोटा सा मैंने उसमें ये फीचर्स हैं, जैसे एटॉमिक हैबिट्स हैं, क्विक है, डिमोइन ऑफ इमोशंस है, हाईली सिंबॉलिक है, क्रिएट हैबिट्स, वर्क्स ऑन द प्रिंसिपल ऑफ लीस्ट एफर्ट, ये भी एक इम्पॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट है। ऑर्गेनाइज मेमोरीज, डज नॉट प्रोसेस नेगेटिव्स, ये एक बड़ी अच्छी थ्योरी है। व्हाई योर अनकॉन्शियस माइंड डू नॉट लाइक टू प्रोसेस नेगेटिव्स, ये वो लॉ ऑफ अट्रैक्शन एक हमारी माइंड साइंसेस के एरिया में चीज कहलाती है। अगर आपने एक दुआ करनी है ना सेहतयाबी की, तो आप कभी ये दुआ ना मांगे कि ज्यादा मुझे बीमारी ना हो। ठीक है, अगर आप नो आई डू नॉट वांट टू बी सिक, इसमें से नेगेटिव वर्ड क्या है? नो, रीड दैट, व्हाट वुड बी रिमेनिंग इन द सेंटेंस? आई वांट टू बी सिक। इसलिए कि आपके उस पूरे सेंटेंस में आपका फोकस जो है सिकनेस पे। ओके, इंस्टेड इफ यू से आई वांट टू बी हेल्दी, अब इसमें कोई नेगेटिव वर्ड है, सो देयर इज नथिंग टू रीड। और आपके जो फोकस है वो हेल्थ, तो आपका अनकॉन्शियस माइंड उस तरफ लगेगा जहां पे आपका फोकस है। ठीक है, रिमेंबर दैट इन लाइफ। एसोसिएशन, आइडियाज, परसेप्शंस और मेमोरीज कैसे ऑर्गेनाइज है? रन्स एंड प्रिजर्व द बॉडी, एंजॉय सर्विंग, लव्स क्लियर ऑर्डर्स। अच्छा, ये अनकॉन्शियस माइंड ना आपका बहुत बड़ा सर्वेंट भी है, और ऐसा सर्वेंट है वो जो अलादीन वाला जीन है ना, क्या हुक्म मेरे आता, ये थकता नहीं है। कॉन्शियस माइंड थक जाएगा। आप किसी मसले पे काम कर रहे हैं, कुछ उलझ गई कोई चीज, कोई क्वेश्चन मैच का नहीं हल हो रहा, कुछ फीसिस का प्रॉब्लम आ गया, कॉन्शियस माइंड थक जाएगा, ये नहीं करता, ये चलता रहता। और इसलिए हम जब अपनी थेरेपी वगैरह जो कराते हैं तो उसमें हम फिर ये बताते हैं हाउ टू मेक द बेस्ट यूज ऑफ इट। अच्छा, कॉन्शियस में क्या है? ये लॉजिकल है, एफर्टफुल मेंटल एक्टिविटी, एनालिटिकल है, कंसंट्रेशन है, प्लानिंग है, फोकस अटेंशन है, सेल्फ रेगुलेशन है, कॉन्शियस थॉट, प्रोसेस थिंग्स इन ऑर्डरली स्टेप्स, सेल्फ रेगुलेशन एंड लिमिटेड बैंडविड्थ, जो मैंने आपको पहले बताया। What do we commonly learn to manage? Okay, we are going into the other domain. हम लाइफ में क्या मैनेज कर रहे होते हैं? रूटीन्स, ओके, टास्क,
ऑब्जेक्टिव्स हैं, पर्पस ऑफ लाइफ है।
ऑब्जेक्टिव्स हैं, पर्पस ऑफ लाइफ को तो पहले तो समझते हैं बहुत देर में जाके, लेकिन
once you will understand then you can do it.
ओके। और इसमें ना बहुत सारे डिसिप्लिन भी है ना, बहुत सारी ट्रेनिंग्स है, बहुत सारी चीजें जो आपको मैनेजमेंट दिखाएंगी चीजों की। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल जैसे इसमें होती है ना ट्रेनिंग्स, बताया जाता है ना यू नीड टू मैनेज योर स्ट्रेस, कैसे मैनेज करना है। ओके, देन परफॉर्मेंस मैनेजमेंट, जो दोज ऑफ यू विल बी वर्किंग दे अंडरस्टैंड दैट जो जॉब्स पे हैं या बिजनेसेस में है कि मेरी इस पीरियड की परफॉर्मेंस ये नहीं रही या इस तरह नहीं रही, ये मुझे ढूंढनी चाहिए, इसमें ऑब्जेक्टिव और गोल सब आ जाएगा, ठीक है। फाइनेंशियल मैनेजमेंट, राइट, एवरी डे इतने का सौदा आ गया, ये बजट बना लिया, इसको आगे लेके चलना है, आगे किस तरह मुझे अपने ऑब्जेक्टिव्स को अचीव करना है। रिलेशनशिप मैनेजमेंट, इट्स अनदर चैलेंजिंग टास्क, ठीक है। इट्स अ होल, अब तो ये पूरी साइंस है आज के मामले में, अब तो ये सिर्फ वो एक घर तक नहीं रही है, अब तो ये पूरी साइंस है।
I think the most difficult because we can control the other things, not this thing.
Yeah,
It's
that's right.
uncontrollable.
That's right. तो वैसे मैं एक बात बताऊं, जब मैं पहले स्ट्रेस मैनेजमेंट से स्टार्ट होता हूँ, तो मैं एक और ट्रेनिंग होती थी जहाँ पे मैं स्ट्रेस मैनेजमेंट की ट्रेनिंग कराते, मेरा क्वेश्चन ये होता था, why do you want to manage stress? Don't you want to manage those things who are dear to you? Your family, your kids, your partner, your friends, your social circle, that circle which is giving you happiness. But wouldn't you be interested to manage them more and less of this stress? Actually वो मैनेजमेंट नहीं होती, वो हम क्या करते हैं, इसको खत्म कैसे करना, ठीक है ना, दैट्स आवर ऑब्जेक्टिव। मगर उसमें प्रॉब्लम क्या आता है उस साइड में, वो जो ट्रेनिंग है बार बार वो आपको ज्यादा स्ट्रेस फोकस बना देती है, राइट। अभी मैंने आपको क्या कहा था कि आपका फोकस कहाँ होना चाहिए, पॉजिटिव साइड पे। अच्छा, लेट्स सी, ऐसी बात नहीं है कि वो सीखने के लिए जरूरी नहीं है। टाइम मैनेजमेंट, राइट, okay, now this question, there is one more area of management which is often ignored. अच्छा, मैं ये मिसाल देता हूँ, आप स्टडी कर रहे हैं, आपको टाइम मैनेजमेंट भी है, आपको किसी हद तक फाइनेंशियल मैनेजमेंट भी होगा, आपको स्ट्रेस मैनेजमेंट है, परफॉर्मेंस आपकी वो है कि आपके अच्छी स्टडी में अच्छे नंबर आ जाएं या बाकी चीज़ें आ जाएं, आप इन चीज़ों से गुजर रहे हैं। एंड इफ यू आर अ वर्किंग पर्सन, यू विल बी मोर कंसर्न अबाउट परफॉर्मेंस मैनेजमेंट। बहुत सारे इदारों में परफॉर्मेंस मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम चल रहे हैं, आपकी सालाना रिपोर्ट क्या होगी, आपकी ग्रेडिंग क्या होगी, उसकी बेस पे आपकी सैलरी इंक्रीज क्या होगा, दिस काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स। और या फिर ये कि अगर आप रिसर्चर हैं तो फिर आपने कितने पेपर शाये कर लिए, उससे आपकी जो इमेज है वो किस तरह का बिल्ड हो गया, दिस एंड दैट। तो ये सारी चीजें चल रही हैं, मगर एक मैंने एरिया डिलिबरेटली मैंने खाली छोड़ा है, एंड आई वांटेड टू नो व्हाट इज one more area of management which is often ignored. Self-management, you are getting close, but इसका एक specific word मिल रहा है।
The way you think.
उससे now you are getting even closer.
Emotional management.
Emotional, okay, is even closer, but इससे पहले करीब है, you are very close. Mashallah, it's good to see a very interactive and sharp group which is picking it up. Okay, let's go there. Belief management. What do you believe? अच्छा, क्योंकि अगर बिलीफ नहीं है ना, एक इदारे में परफॉर्मेंस मैनेजमेंट बड़ी जबरदस्त चल रही है, पर वो इदारा कभी बॉदर नहीं होता ये फाइंड आउट करने में कि उसके लोगों का बिलीफ क्या है। If they don't want to gauge the belief, they will be going around in circles about performance, this is why they are not performing, and they're trying to increase motivation and this and that. And same goes for a student, same goes for everyone. ये आपने कभी कितना आपने सुना होगा कि कोई भी इदारा या कोई भी बॉडी या कोई और लोग अपनी पर्सनल लाइफ में अपने बिलीफ को गेज करते नहीं करते हैं। मुझे 7 years के दौर का डेवलप हो गया ना, उसको लेके चल रहे हैं। ओके, नाउ आई एम गोइंग टू बी, ये थोड़ा सा आपको लगेगा अजीब लगेगा ये कॉन्सेप्ट, बट आई टेल यू दिस इज हाउ इट वर्क्स एंड इट वर्क्स बेस्ट। अच्छा, What are beliefs? Sorry, मैं इसको पहले ले आया। तो for those who are just see, क्या belief होते क्या?
Mental convictions.
Mental convictions, okay.
The core values somebody have, whatever the core values. हर इंसान की अपनी अलग होती है, but they are the beliefs.
And और कोई पीछे से? अच्छा, हमारे पास कुछ अगर वो चैट पे आ रहे हो ना, तो वो प्लीज अगर डिस्प्ले कर सके तो कर दीजिएगा उसको। अच्छा, और कोई चीज, कोर वैल्यूज,
Set of thought that cannot be challenged.
ओके, a thought that cannot be challenged, okay, for the person who is believing it,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
And sir, a solid observation. We observe something and see a value in it, and we believe, make a perception.
So after you observe, after you see something, you start to believe that what you saw has this meaning and that meaning and all that. Okay? Achha, let me tell you from the psychological point of view, इसकी definition here. Okay? These are emotionally held opinions, okay, that we have reinforced over time and hold to be valid. It's like a recording in our head. एक सॉफ्टवेयर कमांड है, कोडेड कर दी गई, ये बिलीव है. सच बोलना अच्छी बात है, राइट? दिस इज अ बिलीफ फॉर यू. दिस हैज बीन इनकोडेड व्हाइल्स यू वर, जब आपकी तरबियत हो रही थी, जब आपको चीजें बताई जा रही थी. बिलीव. इस स्लाइड में हम ये बात नहीं कह रहे कि बिलीव गलत होता है या बिलीव सही होता है. ऐसी बात नहीं है, क्योंकि हमारे बहुत सारे जो सोशल सिस्टम है, रिलीजियस सिस्टम है, वो उन बिलीफ्स के ऊपर ही चलते हैं. और वो अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह वो बिलीफ्स होना, जो अच्छे बिलीफ्स हैं, वो होना कोई बुरी बात नहीं है. वो देते हैं क्यों. बट व्हाट इज इट, कभी आपने इसको इस एंगल से देखना है कि ये इमोशनली हेल्ड ओपिनियन है जिसको आप समझते हैं कि ये वैलिड है. ओके? अच्छा, इसीलिए आप उसको कहते हैं नहीं भाई मैं इसे चेंज नहीं करूंगा, ये तो बहुत सी बात है. लेकिन विल डिस्कस दैट. तो रिकॉर्डिंग इन आवर हेड है, या कोडेड सॉफ्टवेयर कमांड है इन आवर अनकॉन्शियस माइंड. वी एक्ट अकॉर्डिंग टू व्हाट हैज बीन रिकॉर्डेड और कोडेड थ्रू दिस सॉफ्टवेयर. वेयर डू वी गेट देम फ्रॉम?
पेरेंट्स, एनवायरनमेंट.
एग्जैक्टली. अभी मैंने उसका थोड़ा सा हिंट दिया था आपको ना. मोस्टली कंप्लीटेड बाय एज 7 एंड शेप्ड बाय पेरेंट्स, पेरेंट फिगर्स, people, environment who have influence on us or who we observe very closely. मैं अपने बचपन में मैं अपने दादा के दोस्तों के पास बैठता था, तो उनसे मैंने ये चीज़ सीखी कि यार किसी को अगर कोई बड़ा आ गया तो आपने खड़े हो जाना है, उसकी ताज़ीम में और उसको सलाम करना. ठीक है? एंड इट्स अ गुड थिंग इन दिस कल्चर. फिर उन्होंने कुछ मुझे सिखा भी दिया. अभी मेरा एक बिलीव है, इफ आई सी माय सीनियर और एल्डरली वॉक्ड इन, आई शुड लीव माय सीट. I should stand up and show him respect. This is just a belief. I hold it to be true. किसी कल्चर में हो सकता है, दुनिया के किसी पार्ट में, in some part of the world and culture, this may not be the practice. So a person from that area may not stand up. We are not saying कि वो गलत है, ये सही है. It's not about who is right and who is wrong. It's about what the belief system a person is using. Okay? अच्छा. Can we change them? Now this is important. I'm not saying that we should. मैंने ये बात कह दी ना कि ये नहीं आपको कह रहा नहीं we should change all the beliefs. No.
It would be difficult.
We can change.
Difficult. But can we change them or
but
not?
very difficult, because it's working against your core values and beliefs. It's very difficult.
Yeah, that's
because
right.
you need to fight with yourself.
Yeah, for that you need to study the belief first.
Yes.
देखें, बिलीफ पे बिलीव होना या बिलीफ को अंडरस्टैंड करना, ये दो डिफरेंट चीजें हैं. तो आपको बिलीफ को अगर आप अंडरस्टैंड करेंगे तभी आप उसको कुछ चेंज या मॉडिफाई करने की बात कर सकते हैं. ओके? अगर मसला ये कि अगर न्यू लर्निंग जो है ना वो आपको कभी आएगी नहीं अगर आप अपनी पुरानी लर्निंग को डी लर्न ना कर सकें, आप पे सलाहियत ना हो कि आप अपने पुराने बिलीफ को इवेल्युएट करके चेंज ना कर सकें. अच्छा, if the recording of the coded instruction works in favor of what we want, we can keep it, maybe update it or refine kare from time to time. If the recording of the coded instruction, that is the belief, is limiting what we want or what we think about ourselves, we can take it out, re-record it, and so we have the one that works for us. It's just simple as that. इसमें कोई confusion या कोई problem नहीं है. इसमें एक छोटी सी analogy आपको मैं देता हूँ. पहली लाइन पर फोकस करें. आप जाते हैं ना शॉपिंग करने, क्लोथ्स ट्राई करते हैं इसलिए कि वो फिर आप देखते हैं कि अच्छे लगे. अच्छा, हाउ दे फिट, हाउ दे लुक, हाउ पीपल नोटिस अबाउट दैट. और जब वो फिट नहीं होते तो आप क्या करते हैं? रिटर्न देम इफ यू डोंट लाइक देम, इफ दे डोंट फिट. ओके? अच्छा, क्या आप कुछ को रख लेते हैं कुछ को रिटर्न कर देते हैं? ये भी हो सकता है. ठीक है? You can return some clothes and you can keep some, and you can mix the one you bought with your old ones to create a new style of clothing. ये सारा काम आप कर रहे हैं, all natural. You can try on beliefs just like that. इसको हम वंस समझते हैं ना कि ये बिल्कुल एक स्टिफ चीज है और ये इससे तो हिलना वो मुमकिन नहीं है, ऐसा नहीं है. हाँ, ये बात आपकी अलग बात है कि हमारे जो सोशल स्ट्रक्चर, हमारा रिलीजियस स्ट्रक्चर, हमारी बाकी चीज़ें जो उसकी जो फिक्स्ड बिलीव्स हैं, मैं उनको नहीं कह रहा कि आप उसे छोड़ें, मगर आपकी साइकोलॉजी में, आपकी डीलिंग में, आपकी बातचीत में, आपकी लोगों के साथ इंटरेक्शन में, आपकी रिपोर्ट बिल्डिंग में, आपकी पर्सनैलिटी बिल्डिंग में, वहाँ जो बिलीव्स काम कर रहे हैं उनको तो रिफाइन कर सकते हैं ना, ठीक है ना? तो यू कैन जस्ट ट्राई दैट. So you presuppose that they are true, you can try them on. If they work, they will likely become a belief for you. If you not, you can put them to one side. That's why it is said the last line, if we believe we can't, we won't. And if we believe we can, we just might. Okay? तो ये वो belief management है कि जिसको आपको लेके चलना बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है. और इस एरिया की तरफ हमारा फोकस जाता ही नहीं है. बहुत सारी हमारी ट्रेनिंग जो होती है, जो आपको स्ट्रेस मैनेजमेंट सिखा रही है, जो आपको रिलेशनशिप मैनेजमेंट सिखा रही है, जो बाकी चीज़ें सिखा रही है, उससे पीछे जो आपकी पर्सनैलिटी में जो बिलीफ चल रहे होते हैं ना, तो बहुत से लोग होते हैं जो मेरे पास जिस तरह एडवाइस के लिए आते हैं ये बाकी उस पर, तो उनको हम पहले जाके वहाँ हम असेस करते हैं कि अनकॉन्शियस लेवल पर बिलीफ क्या फंसे, और वो पहले ठीक किए जाते हैं, फिर उसके बाद आगे चल के आप उसको वो करते हैं. So now you are understanding कि जो न्यूरो है वो इस तरह सिर्फ इट्स नॉट अबाउट इलेक्ट्रिकल पल्सेस गोइंग इन द ब्रेन, तो न्यूरो वर्क कैसे कर रहा है. अच्छा, हाँ श्योर.
जो वी कांट बोल रहे हैं, आई कांट बोल रहे हैं, आई कांट बोल, तो वो जो बोल रहा है इट्स बिकॉज उसका डेटा सेट, उसके माइंड में जो डेटा सेट है, उसकी जो एग्जिस्टिंग इंफॉर्मेशन है उसमें मे बी वो बहुत ज़्यादा अनसक्सेसफुल रहा हो अपनी पिछली चीज़ों में, इसलिए उसको आगे भी लगता है कि आई कांट.
हाँ, ये होता है.
पैटर्न इतना स्ट्रांग हो जाता है
हाँ,
कि फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी खत्म हो जाती है.
आप मैं इस पे मिसाल देता हूँ. जैसे ख़वातीन हमारे माशरे में जब काम करने निकलती हैं, अगर खातून बिजनेस करने निकले, उसको सबसे पहले घर से सुनना पड़ता है कि तुम्हारे बस की बात नहीं है, ये तो औरतों की फील्ड नहीं है, ये क्या करोगी, ये कैसे होगा. अच्छा, या फिर बच्चा है कोई चीज़ अटेंड करना चाहे, कि अबू मैं वो ये लेडर वाली जो सीढ़ी है उस पर चढ़ना चाहता हूँ, नहीं बेटा गिर जाओगे, या बाकी कोई मसला होगा. तो हम क्या कर रहे होते हैं कि हम अपनी वो प्रोटेक्शन, सिक्योरिटी, बाकी उसके नतीजे में हम उसके जहन में इतनी सारी इंस्ट्रक्शंस फीड करते हैं. यू कांट, पहले वो ये सुनता है लाइफ में, यू कांट, फिर उसको एक आहिस्ता आहिस्ता ना वो एक उसकी एक अफर्मेशन बन जाती है वो ये चीज़ उसके लिए, और वो उसको ये इंस्ट्रक्शन उसके जहन में होती है. अच्छा, फलाने का था, माय फादर टोल्ड मी आई कांट, माय बॉस टोल्ड मी आई कांट, माय नेबर टोल्ड मी आई कांट. So then he started recalling. और फिर वो whenever he faces a challenge, the first thing that comes to mind, वो जो unconscious mind से उठ के जो फौरन चीज़ आती है, वो आती है you can't, and then उसका internal dialogue की बेस पर फैसला करता है कि I can't. Okay? So this is what is happening. वो एक belief बन गया. But what I'm trying to say to you is, if you know and you recognize why are you thinking I can't, and if you know that this is a belief which is going into you, and if you know that you can change it if you want, ठीक है, this is the moment of realization when things will start changing for you. ठीक है, why you can't? If anybody can, why can't you? ठीक है ना, you need to ask yourself that. Okay, somebody could have done it. How did somebody could have done it, and why can't I do it? These are the kinds of dialogues that you need to ask yourself. Okay? Yes, please.
It's just a small analogy, and secondly, kind of a riddle for the rest of the people.
Sure.
The religion, that's a belief system.
Yes.
तो जो हमको बचपन में बताया जाता है, जो हम देखते हैं, जो हमें फीड किया जाता है, it becomes our belief the rest of the life, right?
Obviously.
But there are certain people who do believe that this is important, but there are certain limiting beliefs. जो कि उन्होंने प्रैक्टिस में देखा है कि लोग रेगुलरली नमाज नहीं पढ़ रहे हैं या बहुत डेडिकेटली रोज़ा नहीं रख रहे हैं, तो it becomes really difficult to follow that belief. So it's like kind of riddle
Okay.
जो अभी आप उसको
आप
answer
उसमें
कर
कह
रहे
रहे हैं कि वो what you observe from your environment, you tend to first of all you get surprised
Yeah.
कि उनका नहीं सब क्यों नहीं पढ़ रहे, वो क्यों नहीं पढ़ रहे,
लेकिन बताया ये जा रहा है कि
बताया तो ये जा रहा है कि पढ़ ली।
बिलीफ बनाने की कोशिश की
हाँ,
जा रही है, लेकिन उसको
हाँ।
फिर क्वेश्चन मार्क भी डाल दिया जाता है.
देखिए-
So there's a limiting belief, मतलब
वो जो
it's like-
लिमिटिंग बिलीफ होता है ना, मैं आपको एक बात ये कहता हूँ, हर इंसान का जो अपना बिलीफ सिस्टम है ना, वो जरूरी नहीं होता कि एनवायरनमेंट आपके ऊपर कोई चीज़ें फोर्स करे. एनवायरनमेंट जो चीज़ें फोर्स करता है वो वही जो मैंने पहले आपको मैप दिखाया था ना, जो एक्सटर्नली आप देखते हैं, उसके बाद आप क्या करें, आप DDG का रूल लगाते हैं, डिलीट डिस्टॉर्ट और जनरलाइज. अच्छा, डिलीट डिस्टॉर्ट और जनरलाइज के बाद फिर आपके जो पहले के बिलीफ सिस्टम है वो कर रहे होते हैं. एक बच्चा है, वो एक ऐसे घर में पैदा हुआ जो 7 साल की एज तक उसने देखा कि जब भी अजान होती है उसकी मदर जो है वो सारे काम शुरू किए. उसने फटाफट वजू किया और 2 रकात किया, 4 रकात जो किए वो फर्स्ट पढ़े और उसके बाद वो अपने काम में लगा. ऑनेस्टली 7 साल के बाद उस बच्चे को सिखाने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी, ठीक है. लेकिन अगर उसने एक ऐसे इन्वायरमेंट से उसकी ब्रॉटअप हुई है जहाँ वो देखे अजान हो रही है लेकिन वो अभी गाना चल रहा है, या वो कोई मेहमान आए हुए बैठे हुए कोई भी नहीं उठ रहा, तो वो चल रहा है. अब वो क्या हो रहा है कि उसके अनकॉन्शियस माइंड में ये हो रहा है कि इट्स ओके. यानी मैं ये बात नहीं कर रहा कि ये बात सही है गलत है, लेकिन मैं ये डिबेट करूँ कि उसके माइंड में ये बात जा रही है कि हाँ ठीक है, अगर मेहमान बैठे हों तो छोड़ी जा सकती है, वो बाद में पढ़ लेंगे ये कुछ. तो ये भी एक प्रोग्राम है जो उसके अंदर चल रहा है. सम पीपल वर्क, एवरीवन वर्क ऑन डिफरेंट प्रोग्राम्स, ठीक है ना. तो अगर मैं इस मामले में मैं अपने आप को देखूँ, मुझे एक बिलीव है मेरे पास कि मुझे एक टाइम है, अल्लाह ने कॉल किया है, एक सर्टेन टाइम है. उस टाइम पे अगर मैं कोई ट्रैवल कर रहा हूँ कि ऐसी सूरत याद है कि मैं वजू नहीं कर सकता, क्योंकि तो चलो उसने मुझे वो दे दी, गुंजाइश दे दी, मैं उसको थोड़ी देर में पढ़ लूँ. लेकिन अगर अदरवाइज इफ आई कैन आई शुड जस्ट डू इट, इट टेक्स ओनली 5 मिनट्स, ठीक है ना. ये भी मेरा एक बिलीव है. अगर मैं उस बिलीव पे अमल करना शुरू कर दूँ, आप देखिए, इसीलिए हम कहते हैं बिलीव चेंज करने के बाद. अगर मैं एक ऐसा बच्चा होता कि जो जिसने एक ऐसे घर में तरबियत पाई होती कि जहाँ पे नमाज की बहुत पाबंदी नहीं है, तो मैं क्या करता कि मैं भी उसी तरह एक्ट कर रहा होता कि यार मैं भी मीटिंग चल रही है, चलो बाद में पढ़ लो. फिर सम डे आई कम अक्रॉस अनदर पर्सनालिटी जिसने मुझे ये बताया कि नहीं यार, इट इज इम्पोर्टेंट. तुम्हारे क्रिएटर की कॉल है, ठीक है. इट्स नॉट योर बॉस, इट्स नॉट योर husband, or it's not your wife, it's not your president of the country. It's the creator of the world who's calling you. Just 5 मिनट दे दो उसको. तो अगर इस एंगल से उसने मुझे समझा दिया और मेरा ये बिलीव जो पुराना बिलीव था ना, वो सब I've changed it.
And that's why we also have converts who are very dedicatedly, they follow the next religion.
Yes,
because the
yes.
belief system has
Yes,
shifted
yes.
very strongly.
Even within our religion, it is always encouraged to keep on going for more positivity and more improvement. Okay? Keep on refining your beliefs. Okay? So,
सर हमारे सबकॉन्शियस माइंड में जो बिलीव्स हैं तो उन्हें हम चेंज कर सकते हैं.
बिल्कुल कर सकते हैं, बिल्कुल कर सकते हैं. ये NLP की जो थेरेपी और बाकी चीजें होती है ना, ये इसी तरह कराती है. मतलब आपको सब, लेकिन उसके लिए पहली शर्त है कि आपको ये आता होगा आपने सबकॉन्शियस माइंड से कम्युनिकेट कैसे करना. हाउ डू यू टॉक टू दैट सबकॉन्शियस माइंड, अनकॉन्शियस माइंड. उसकी बाकायदा एक पूरी थेरेपी होती है जो जिस तरह अपनी प्रैक्टिस में मेरे साथ जो लोग एडवाइस के लिए आते हैं, उनके जो सेशन होते हैं उसमें हम यही उनको कर रहे हैं, उनको रीप्रोग्राम करते हैं. ठीक है ना. हम उनको ये सिखाते हैं कि खुद को रीप्रोग्राम कैसे करो. ये नहीं होता कि हम उसको कहेंगे नहीं हमारा बेटे करेगा. हम उसे एक दफा उस टेक्निक से गुजारते हैं, फिर उसको वो टूल बता देते हैं जिससे तुम वो अपने अनकॉन्शियस माइंड को रीप्रोग्राम कर सकते हैं.
सर अभी बताइएगा.
ये इस सेशन में तो बताना बड़ा नामुमकिन है, उसके लिए तो बहुत लंबी वो चलती है. लेकिन ये कि बहरहाल अगर कभी कोई आगे वो होगा सेशन तो मैं आपको बता दूँ, मेरे कॉन्टैक्ट नंबर्स उसमें है. अच्छा, तो यू कैन ट्राई ऑन बिलीव्स जस्ट लाइक द क्लोथ्स, यू कैन चेंज देम इफ दे डोंट वर्क फॉर यू. ओके, मगर मैं इसमें आपको ये कहूँगा आप अपनी एथिकल, मोरल और रिलीजियस बाउंड्रीज को बिल्कुल ख्याल रखें. मैं उससे आपको आज़ाद होने के लिए नहीं कह रहा. ठीक है. अच्छा, what do we do if we are stuck in the limiting belief? So step into the एक तो आइडिया ये कि आप स्टेप करें उसके बिलीव में कि जो कोई एक्सीलेंट परफॉर्मर है, दैट यू आर मॉडलिंग इन ऑर्डर टू इन्फ्लुएंस द वे वी बिहेव. जैसे मैंने आपको बताया था कि मैं मेरे दादा के दोस्तों में से एक साथ थे जो उन्होंने मुझे ये तरीका सिखाया कि आपने बड़ा आए तो कमरे में, तो आप सीनियर आए तो आप खड़े हो जाएंगे सीट से। इसी तरह एक अच्छी फैमिली के साथ हमारे मरासिम थे, उनके पास एक अपने ज़माने की बड़ी अच्छी गाड़ी थी, दे वर वेरी वेल ऑफ फैमिली। उनके पास एक अच्छी 70s के ज़माने की मर्सिडीज कार थी और उनका ड्राइवर था, शोफर था, जिसकी बाकायदा वर्दी होती थी। तो और वो उन्होंने मुझे एक दफ़ा रूल सिखाया था कि अगर आप पीछे बैठें तो ड्राइवर के पीछे ना बैठें, अकेले हैं तो फिर आप क्रॉस में बैठें, और अगर कोई गेस्ट आ गया उसको आपने साथ पिछली सीट पर बिछाना है तो आप फिर खुद ड्राइवर के पीछे हो जाए, उससे क्रॉस नहीं दें। ये छोटी छोटी चीज़ें थी जो आपको ना आपको एक पूरा वो सिस्टम डेवलप करके बताती है। दीज आर द गुड पॉइंट्स एंड एटिकेट्स दैट वी लर्न फ्रॉम गुड पीपल। तो या तो आप उनके बिलीव्स जो है उनको अडॉप्ट करें, या फिर आप अपनी किसी रिसोर्सफुल स्टेट को याद करें। फॉर एग्जाम्पल यू नीड कॉन्फिडेंस। अब अभी जो आपकी सिचुएशन है उसमें आपको कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं आ रहा, आप माजी में जाएं, रिकॉल करें कि कौन सा मौका था जब आपने कोई टेस्ट पास किया था, या आपने कोई आर्गुमेंट को अच्छे तरीके से विन किया था, या आपने कोई बड़ी अचीवमेंट हासिल की थी। उस वक्त जो आपको कॉन्फिडेंस था ना, वो आप वापस रिकॉल करें और उसको आप अपने पर तारी करें। ये बेसिकली ये पूरी एनएलपी जो है इसकी वो टेक्निकें ये कराई जाती है कि आप किस तरह रिकॉल कर सकते हैं अपनी। या फिर डेवलप सम बिलीव्स ऑफ एक्सीलेंस। इसको मैंने रेड में, व्हाट आर दीज? आपके पास अपने बिलीव है, अभी ये बिलीव आए ना कि आई कांट, इसको रिप्लेस करते हैं बिलीव ऑफ एक्सीलेंस से। अब बिलीव ऑफ एक्सीलेंस क्या है, जिसको हम लाइफ में बहुत ज़्यादा अब नहीं करते। ये बेसिकली पूरी एनएलपी का एक पूरा डोमेन है। बिलीव मैनेजमेंट में मैं आपको 3 दिन पढ़ा सकता हूँ, ठीक है ना, लेकिन मैं सिर्फ अभी आपको जो हिंट दे रहा हूँ ये कि फेलियर होता है, आपको कोई चीज़ ट्राई करते हैं, उसमें फेल हो गए, अब वो फेलियर आपके ऊपर इम्पैक्ट क्या लाएगा? कॉन्फिडेंस लूज होगा, डिसअपॉइंटमेंट होगी, डिप्रेशन होगा। वो उस वक्त होगा जब आप उसे टर्न कर रहे होंगे फेलियर। ओके, अब मैं आपको एक बिलीव ऑफ एक्सीलेंस देता हूँ। इन लाइफ देयर इज नो फेलियर, ओनली फीडबैक। जिंदगी आपको फीडबैक देती है, फेलियर नहीं देती है। नाउ जस्ट इमेजिन, ये लाइन आपने अपने ब्रेन में या माइंड में चला दी। इमेजिन रनिंग दिस लाइन इन योर माइंड, इन लाइफ देयर इज नो फेलियर, ओनली फीडबैक। This failure, what we are terming as failure, is a feedback which is going to tell you what not to do the next time. Okay? So this one short line is a belief of excellence. अच्छा, एक प्रॉब्लम ये आ जाती है कि वो फला बंदे ने मेरे साथ ऐसे कर दिया, somebody did that to me, or somebody did this to me, or they should not have. I've been a victim of all this and this and that. अगर कभी ऐसी सिचुएशन आ जाती है तो आपका ये बिलीव आ रहा है कि आपके बिलीव में 2 चीजें आती हैं। फर्स्ट इज यू आर बीइंग अ विक्टिम ऑफ समथिंग बैड एंड समबडी इज डूइंग दिस फॉर यू। अब इसको रिप्लेस करना है। अब जब तक आप इसको इस एंगल से सोचते रहेंगे ना, आप आगे नहीं बढ़ेंगे। अब आपने इसको रिप्लेस करना है विद अनदर बिलीव ऑफ एक्सीलेंस। तो उस बिलीव ऑफ एक्सीलेंस के अंदर आप कैसे लेके जाएंगे, क्या चीज होगी, तो क्या लाइन होगी, सोच के बताएं।
I didn't that person appropriately. I didn't know his personality.
एक ये भी है, एक और बिलीव जो मैं इसमें कहूँगा, इसको थोड़ा और एक्सटेंड कर दूंगा। Whatever that somebody is doing to you is for a positive intention. Yeah, whatever that is happening to you has a positive intention behind it. अच्छा, अब इस लाइन को आप just keep this line in your mind.
We have a spiritual belief that there is always a blessing behind any disguise.
Yes, इसको करीब तरीन है उसके कि whatever that has happened to you has a positive intention behind it. Now, if somebody hate me, somebody जिसने मुझे थोड़ा सा कोई गलत बात कर दी, कोई सख्त बात कर दी, या कोई मुझे ऐसी सिचुएशन में डाल दिया कि थोड़ी सी embarrassing है, इसमें पॉजिटिव इंटेंशन एक ये है कि कुदरत मुझे एक लर्निंग अपॉर्चुनिटी दे रही है कि हाउ टू डील एंड फेस सच सिचुएशन। how to grow and how to improve upon in such situation. ठीक है ना? Criticism आ गया, fine. But once I face that criticism, the next time I am learning as to how to handle that criticism. That is the positive thing that happened to me through this experience. तो अगर आप एक इस तरह ना मतलब there is a list of beliefs of excellence, but वो अब जब हम कभी डिटेल में आपको बताएंगे तो वो उसके लिहाज से चलता है, लेकिन ये कि ट्रांसफॉर्मेशनल बिलीफ्स है. अगर आप वो उनको प्रैक्टिस करने लग जाए अपनी लाइफ में ना, तो आपका वो जो इंटरनल मसला है ना यहाँ का, वो इंटरनल डायलॉग ठीक होना शुरू हो जाएगा. अगर वो इंटरनल डायलॉग खुद का ठीक हो गया तो आप बाकी की दुनिया के साथ आपको कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं रहेगा. अच्छा,
That's sometimes surroundings impact very negatively on ourselves. That how the surrounding perceives our failures. They mostly perceive our failure as failure rather than counting it as an opportunity.
I tell you a golden rule. Do not try to correct the surrounding. Correct yourself. बस NLP ना वो आपको पहले खुद को ठीक करना है. खुद को आपने उस सराउंडिंग से इफेक्ट होने से बचाना शुरू कर देना.
Sir, but this is the question: how we can protect ourselves from the negativities of the surroundings?
Don't absorb it. Don't absorb it. That's what I'm trying to say to you.
Sometimes a person went through a deep depression. So
Yeah.
the person is not able to develop some of these kinds of belief of excellence. So the person needs someone to uplift. So
Yeah.
how at that condition he is unable or she is unable to develop. So at
Yes.
that stage, what is the basic NLP
This
criteria?
is the basic thing.
Yeah.
Seek help.
Mhm.
Seek help. If you are depressed, तो ये चीज सोचना कि नहीं मैं डिप्रेशन में रहते हुए बैठे बैठे मैं खुद ठीक हो जाऊंगा या हो जाऊंगा, it doesn't happen normally. Seek help. Seek professional help.
Yeah.
डिप्रेशन इज अ डिसऑर्डर ना, वो एक प्रॉब्लम है जो हमारे साथ है ना. अगर उसी की सोच में उसी में हर वक्त बैठे हुए हैं और हम किसी से कोई हेल्प नहीं चाह रहे, दैट्स व्हाई दीस आर द प्रोफेशनल प्रोग्राम्स, थेरेपीज, थिंग्स लाइक दैट एग्जिस्ट. क्योंकि किसी को पता है कि आपका क्या मसला है, उससे आपको हाथ पकड़ के कैसे बाहर लाना है, और अगर आपको खुद नहीं पता तो हाथ पकड़े और जाए. ये एक वो है. और एक दफा फिर ये सिर्फ ये नहीं कि आप उससे इलाज कराएं, आप उससे वो टूल लें कि अच्छा मुझे इसके बाद अगर मुझे दोबारा कोई मसला वो लाइफ में तो मुझे खुद कैसे बाहर आना. एक अच्छा थेरेपिस्ट जो होता है ना, वो आपको ट्रीटमेंट नहीं करता, वो आपको सिखा देता है, आपको टूल दे देता है कि अच्छा इसके बाद अपने अपनी लाइफ में इसको डील कैसे करना है. ठीक है ना. ये विशेष साइकिल है. डिप्रेशन वाला साइकिल बड़ा विशेष. अगर आप खुद कुछ नहीं करेंगे ना, कहीं से हेल्प नहीं सीख करेंगे तो आप उसमें रहेंगे.
It's like doctors also need doctors sometimes.
Yeah, that's right.
They just need.
अच्छा, माइंड साइंसेस का तो बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग एरिया है ना. मतलब डॉक्टर्स, अब हम क्लिनिकल साइकेट्रिस्ट पे जाते हैं, वो आपको केमिकल्स इंड्यूस कर देते हैं कि भाई डोपामीन है या कोर्टिसोल है, स्ट्रेस हार्मोन ये हैप्पीनेस का केमिकल ये, वो उससे मैनेज कर रहे होते हैं. हम आपको वो बताते हैं कि यार ये बॉडी में ये केमिकल बने किस थॉट की वजह से थे, वहां इसको दुरुस्त करो ताकि आपकी बॉडी खुद ही केमिकल बैलेंस करना शुरू हो. अच्छा, sensory thinking patterns, WACOG. What do I mean by that? अच्छा, अब हम NLP के जो थोड़ा सा ना ये न्यूरो के अलावा हम आहिस्ता आहिस्ता लिंग्विस्टिक की तरफ जाएंगे, लेकिन ये क्या हमें ये अंडरस्टैंड करना, ये इंटरेस्टिंग एरिया है. 5 सेंसरी परसेप्शंस हैं. 5 हवा से पंसा, 5 perceptions, वो sensory, visual, seeing, focus on pictures, scenes, images. Hearing is auditory, तो वो है sound, music, noise, quietness. Smelling is olfactory, focus on fragrances, smell, odor. अच्छा, इसी तरह tasting is gustatory, और touch is, we call it kinesthetic. Okay. हैंड शोल्डर. अब आपको पर्सनालिटी टैक्स बताता हूँ. आपके कोलीग हैं, वो आपसे बता रहे हैं यार मैं हैदराबाद गया था, यार आपको जुमलों को गौर कीजिए, मैं हैदराबाद गया था यार, मैंने वहाँ देखा, I went to Hyderabad and I saw that there is a beautiful park out there, and while going there I saw the river Indus was quite big, और वो उसके जुमलों में उसकी लैंग्वेज में आएगा आई सॉ, आई सी, आई सी। वो जो पर्सनैलिटी है वो प्रीडोमिनेंटली इज अ विजुअल टाइप ऑफ पर्सनैलिटी। कुछ लोगों को सम पीपल लाइक टू सी, ऑब्जर्व मोर, ओके। एंड सम ऑफ योर कलीग में से यार द बस वाज वेरी नॉइजी, द एनवायरनमेंट वाज, आई कांट हियर देम प्रॉपर्ली, और मुझे वो सुनाई नहीं दे रहा, बड़ा शोर मच रहा, या उस हॉल में तो बस जाना मुश्किल है, यार ये म्यूजिक बड़ा अच्छा लग रहा है। तो वो जो पर्सनैलिटी है प्रीडोमिनेंटली होगी ऑडिटरी, ओके। आई एम नॉट सेइंग द अदर सेंसेस आर नॉट देयर, बट this one will be predominant among the others. Then olfactory. यार कमरे में आज पता नहीं क्यों वो स्मेल आ रही है, सफाई नहीं हुई, या क्या सोच रहा है, या एयर फ्रेशनर करो, दूर से दरवाजे खिड़कियाँ खोल दो, ओपन द डोर्स एंड विंडोज, लेट द बैड एयर आउट, लेट द स्मेल आउट। अगर ये जुमले आपको ज़्यादा मिलते हैं तो वो पर्सनालिटी टाइप होती है ऑल्फैक्टरी। और फिर ये गैस्ट्रेटरी, मोस्ट ऑफ अस, यार वहाँ की बिरयानी बहुत अच्छी है, ठीक है, और किसी जगह पे हम गए थे तो वहाँ का खाना बड़ा जबरदस्त था। तो जो पर्सनालिटी इस टाइप की टॉकिंग में ज़्यादा है, तो दे लव द बिरयानी, दे लव द डिनर एंड दे लव दिस एंड दैट। देन वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट गैस्ट्रेटरी, एंड देन देयर इज वन मोर पर्सनालिटी जो इफ आई एम स्टैंडिंग नेक्स्ट टू माय कलीग, आई विल पुट माय आर्म ऑन हिज शोल्डर, हाउ आर यू, हाउ आर थिंग्स, एंड आई वुड लाइक टू शेक हैंड मोर, और आई लाइक टू हग, yeah, or even when I'm talking, I'm doing this repeatedly. I'm a kinesthetic type of personality, okay, who like touch. अच्छा, उनके लिए चीजें वैलिडेट तब होती हैं, हर टाइप की पर्सनालिटी के लिए चीजें वैलिडेट तब होती है जब उनसे उस प्रीडोमिनेंट टाइप की चीजों की गुफ्तगू हो रही हो या वो बात हो रही हो। अच्छा, सो रिमेंबर दैट। एक छोटी सी हम एक्सरसाइज देखते हैं। अगर एक बंदा, फर्स्ट करें, if somebody is visual, what kind of jobs would be suitable for a predominantly visual personality? Traveling jobs. Graphic designer,
Sportsman, photographer,
actor, director,
scientist,
ठीक है ना? Anything that contains an element of seeing thing and observing or creating something which others can see. अच्छा, what about auditory? Musician, music directors, ठीक है. What about kinesthetic? जो touch वाले लोग. Sports, dances भी हो सकते हैं. Dances mix हो सकता है visual का kinesthetic का. उनके लिए जो स्पोर्ट्स है या ट्रेनिंग, कोचिंग, इस किस्म की स्पोर्ट्स ट्रेनिंग, ठीक है ना, ये प्रीडोमिनेंट होगी किनेस्थेटिक में। नाउ टेल मी समथिंग, खुद को असेस करें। अपनी कोई लास्ट इंपॉर्टेंट मीटिंग हुई हो फैमिली में या बिजनेस में या कहीं में, व्हाट डू यू थिंक अबाउट इट? पिक्चर, उसको पिक्चर पिन कितने लोगों ने किया, हाथ खड़ा करें। ओके, कितने लोगों को कन्वर्सेशंस या साउंड्स याद है? मोर देन पिक्चर्स,
इक्वली।
ओके, रूम फर्नीचर, टेम्परेचर, डिस्टिंक्ट फ्रेग्रेंस, यहाँ पे मैंने बहुत सारी चीजों को मिक्स अप कर दिया। ओके, सो दैट्स किनेस्थेटिक टाइप। और द फूड सर्व। सो नाउ you see you are assessing your own personality. आपका प्रीडोमिनेंट फैक्टर क्या है? जो चीज आपको सबसे ज्यादा याद रहेगी ना, वो इंडिकेट कर रही है कि आपकी पर्सनालिटी का प्रीडोमिनेंट फैक्टर क्या है। ओके, NLP is also about understanding the predominant factors of others, so you can design your communication that way. मेरे एक दोस्त को बिरयानी पसंद है, तो मैं उनसे ये नहीं कहूँगा कि यार वहाँ पे वो पहाड़ का व्यू बड़ा अच्छा था, मैं उनसे कहूँगा चल यार चलते हैं, वहाँ की बिरयानी बड़ी अच्छी, तो मेरे साथ चलने पे फौरन गाड़ी। Okay, so now next thing is filters on our world. पीछे गुड तो एक जैसी ही है, but lens is different. Okay. All right. अब group divide करते हैं. Who says half full? And who says half empty?
ऐसे ही है।
है ना? well, I don't want to run a competition here, but दोनों सही है, ठीक है ना? But where your focus would be is again depending upon वो जो the belief system, values, and what you see first, वो कैसे चल रहा है. अच्छा, मैं इसको बड़ा, क्योंकि ये बहुत बड़ा एरिया है, इसमें तो मैं आपको 3 दिन भी पढ़ा सकता हूँ कि ये लोगों के फिल्टर्स क्या चल रहे होते हैं, उसमें आपको कैसे पहचानना है, खुद के भी और लोगों के भी. पहला एक हमारी स्टेट होती है जिसको हम कहते हैं एसोसिएटेड डिसएसोसिएटेड. इसमें यूं मैं इसको आपको बात कहूँ कि इफ आई मे टेक अ चेयर, आपकी एक कोलीग से डिस्कशन हो रही है या किसी बिजनेस मीटिंग में आप बैठे हैं, आपके किसी क्लाइंट से डिस्कशन हो रही है, आप कोई प्रपोजल दें, तो मीटिंग में ना आप प्रपोजल प्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं या किसी बॉस को दे रहे हैं, वो बॉस आपकी मीटिंग में या जो भी बंदा आपकी बात सुन रहा है वो ऐसे बैठा है, जी बताएं, ओके, बॉडी पोस्चर आप देखें. अच्छा, और एक बंदा है जिसको आप प्रपोजल दे रहे हैं एंड ही इज लाइक दिस. अच्छा, ठीक है. इन दो में पोस्चर्स में फर्क से आपको क्या अंदाजा महसूस हुआ? Associated. Sometimes people are associated fully into what you are saying, and what you are, उनकी जो फोकस है, उनकी आईज आप पे ग्लूड है, उनकी बाकी चीजें हैं, ये सारी हैं. और समटाइम वो अपनी किसी सोच में आपकी बात सुन रहे हैं मगर दे आर नॉट फुली एसोसिएटेड. ठीक है, ये फिर 2 फिल्टर्स टाइप में जो चल रहे हैं. अच्छा, ये नहीं है कि कोई अच्छा है या कोई बुरा है.
They are not connected with the environment basically.
They are actually used at certain times. अगर आपकी कोई authoritative पोजीशन है जिसमें कि आपने कोई मसले को हल करना है लेकिन वहाँ पे अपनी अथॉरिटी बतानी है, तो समटाइम वी नीड टू यूज द डिसएसोसिएटेड फिल्टर.
सर, कभी-कभी हम ऐसा होता है एसोसिएटेड होना चाहते हैं कि हम एसोसिएटेड रहें, जैसे लेक्चर्स हो रहे हैं कुछ भी, लेकिन जो है वो नहीं हो पाते.
इसमें मैं आपको एक बात बताऊँ, इसमें ना जो लेक्चर दे रहा है उसका भी रोल होता है. ठीक है, आगे चल के हम वो कम्युनिकेशन में इसको देखेंगे, मैं आपको बताऊंगा. ठीक है ना, ये खासकर ये एनएलपी ट्रेनिंग उनके लिए बड़ी जबरदस्त है कि जो जिन्होंने आगे चल के लोगों को टीचिंग करनी है, सिखाना है, पढ़ाना है या फिर लेक्चर देने या कुछ वो डिलीवर करना है, वो जो डिलीवरी कर रहे हैं ना उनके लिए वो टेक्निक्स और चीज़ों को सीखना बहुत जरूरी है.
सर, कभी कभी हमारे ही माइंड में कोई ऐसी बात आने लगती है पुरानी जिससे हम एसोसिएटेड नहीं रह पाते, तो उसको फिर हम कैसे?
जस्ट किल द थॉट उसी वक्त. ठीक है ना, क्योंकि आपको ये देखिए, मेरा बिलीफ ये है कि मैंने ऐसा ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम्स में बैठना है और 3 घंटे पूरे करने और चले जाना, तो फिर मेरे थॉट्स भी आएंगी, बाकी चीज़ें. और अगर मेरा ऑब्जेक्टिव ये है, सॉरी
They are honors, sir.
Oh yeah, okay. So I'll try to keep it in English language as well. So sometimes when we have an objective that I need to come here and pass my time, and this is a lecture, and I'll catch up in the next lecture if I miss something, then my focus would not be that much. And if I'm here to say, okay, I'll learn something new, and if I miss it out, I may not get it again. I've read a novel from Shafiqur Rahman, an author, and he's presented a character. It was an Egyptian person, and he went to London in a certain university, and the other characters were studying there. What he used to do is, he was from a well-off family, but what he used to do is he attended the lectures throughout the year, but he did not sit in the exam. And his colleagues asked him that, why did you not take the exam if you have studied the lectures and if you attended them? So his answer was remarkable. He says that, look, I come here to attend these, वो जो उसके लिए बेश की मतलब very valuable lectures and the knowledge that I need to attain. ठीक है ना? Exams is something that they'll give me a piece of paper. I'm not undermining the importance of the degree or anything, but he says that to me, if I don't give the exam this year, I'll give it next year, but I don't want to miss a lecture because I want to absorb the very value and the knowledge that I'm attaining from it. ठीक है ना? It's your own mindset कि आपका belief क्या है. अच्छा, associated and disassociated. So sometimes you are fully associated into the experience. जैसे हम NLP therapist होते हैं, like us. When we are with a client and when we are observing them, we need to observe their body language, we need to observe their posture, we need to understand their eye movement. और वो तमाम चीज़ें we have to be fully associated with them to understand what they are going through. But if I'm chairing a meeting where I have to deal with, for instance, if I'm, for example, a general manager or CEO of a big company and I have to deal with a labor union and I have to deal with some very unethical demands of them, I don't need to show them that I'm very associated. I may be listening to them, I may be listening to all of that, but I don't need to show association. I need to keep my composure and lean back and say, okay, like that. I won't be like this. Okay, on the table.
Sir?
Yes.
Sir, there is one more aspect. Sometimes we dissociate just to shift our focus towards some critical aspects of the conversation. It can be the CEO or it can be any employee. They just dissociate from the conversation just to shift their focus towards some critical aspects.
Yeah, okay, that's allowed. I'm not saying
Professional, yeah.
you just got to learn when to disassociate and for how long, so that you don't miss the core part. If I'm under an argument with somebody and I need to recall a certain aspect that will help me, I'm allowed to dissociate sometimes.
If it is in your control.
Yeah. But try to, you see, the mastery is to know when to disassociate and when to come back. Okay? And use it for your better advantage. That's what I said, being associated and disassociated, they are not good or bad things. They are the needed things when you needed them. When sometimes association helps you and sometimes disassociation helps you. And then there is a towards or away from, desired state or problem. So tell me, I've written a line there, why the don't want or do not statements are not helpful?
Negative focus.
Focus on negative. Never write or a statement or never focus something with something that you don't want. I've seen a company request, who's requesting an HR firm, we need training for our managers so that they do not, process the appraisal process with faults or things like that. ये उनकी जो request की जो line थी उसकी मतलब crux ये था. This was the crux of their request. Okay, we need to improve our managers so they do not do this. So, would you believe that their management will be doing this? अच्छा, एक IT firm थी वहाँ पे, they had a new director in an IT firm and the first day he came. Previously, the IT firms were working very well. Their employees were really motivated and they were producing it. And the new director came and the very first day he had a meeting, a town hall meeting with them and he says, look, we can't afford to lose business. We can't afford to produce substandard softwares. And we can't afford to do this, that. Now after 6 months, exactly same things were happening in that company. You know why? He implanted those. Losing business is what remained in the minds of those who were attending. Substandard software were the words that remained in the minds. So it's very important that what you are arguing towards, the best thing is you should be towards what you want, okay, and don't use the away from strategy if what you want is positive. Okay? Matched and mismatched. Look at these 3 figures. What comes to your mind in your 3 figures?
All are same.
All are same?
Directions are different.
And somebody else's mind?
2 are similar, the directions are similar,
The one is a different direction. Now what I'm trying to say is, some must have thought they are the same ovals. Right? Same color, same size. Somebody thought, yeah, this one is different. The one is lying while the others are standing. Okay? So this is a filter what you're using. Either you are in a matched state looking for similarities, or you are identifying differences first. Again, this is also working in different professions. Music directors, acting directors, and all these fields, they usually look for similarities. Creativity अपनी जगह is there, but then they look for similarities as well. What good has been done and what we are doing, how can we match that? Auditors, accountants, they notice the differences first. Okay? Why the account is not balanced? What figure is different? So it depends on what filters that you are on and what filters the others are on. Okay. Big chunk and small chunk. What I mean by that is, I'll give you an example. There is one orange and two chefs are fighting over it because they need the orange they both need the orange for their recipes. Only one can have it and they are fighting over it. Now this is called the big chunk fighting. Now when we break up into the small chunk, if I were to intervene and I went there, I said, okay, look, show me your recipes. The first recipe needs an orange juice. And the second recipe may need a grated peel of an orange. That's all. So once we go to the small chunk, we discover that one orange can serve both. But whilst our focus is not on the small details or a small chunk, we are only focusing on the big chunk, and we say, okay, no, I need the orange for my recipe. So which filter are you on or the others are on? That is important for you to recognize. Internal, external reference, again, this is also important on what kind of positions you are. External reference person, they say, sometimes media person, sometimes those doing podcasts, some people who want to learn more, they are on external reference filter. वो बाहर से absorb करते हैं, they want to absorb something from outside. And those who are like on a senior position and strategic, those who are going to lead other people, they are usually internally referenced because they know where to take the crowd and where to take the. So I'm not saying it's all good or bad, but you need to understand that these are all human filters that we operate upon. And if we are operating upon them, others are also operating upon them. Okay? So you need to recognize. थोड़ी सी study के बाद आपको आ जाता है. And now design your convincing pattern. You need to be aware of what filters are. I've just explained that. Predominantly by others and what are their personality types. A visual personality using what filter. If you know this, it will help you design your own communication strategy accordingly. Okay? Structure your rapport building and convincing strategy according to the filter. Ab ek example hai. Let's look at this example. Can you read the slide out? Your boss has used these two sentences. I just can't see it happening. First of all, tell me what kind of wacko personality is that boss? Visual, right? Spot on. What will you do if you have a boss who is having a visual personality and is saying, I just can't see it happening, or I just don't get the picture?
Let me show you.
Let me show you. You don't say, listen, sir, never do that. And you don't come and try to be associated without showing any visual element. He says, look, we have a plan here. And you can see that this is point A, point B, point C. आप अपनी communication में ना वो चीजें develop करें.
If you picturize that.
If you picturize that, or to that boss, it's better to show it on a presentation, show it on a map, show it on a piece of paper. Just take out a piece of paper and draw something and say, look, this is what I mean. It's easy to get through that kind of person who is visual with these tactics. Instead of we say, sir, we have a 3 minutes speech on this by Mr. So. Would you like to, he will explain it better. That speech is not going to work for your boss because he is a visual and you need to amend your communication strategy according to the visual personality. You need to recognize that. Same goes for auditory. Auditory को ये होता है कि आपको एक अच्छी tone में, अच्छी pitch में, on a good tone and pitch and tonality that you are talking to them, it's more important how you are speaking. And then olfactory is you need to have a room fresh, air freshness and things like that. And the kinesthetic, you may need to go and just hold hand. Boss, this is right. Kinesthetic वाले जो है ना वो उस तरह operate करेगी. So these are the things that you can do. I've just jotted down what happened in real world. Some people need to see the ideas visually. Some need to hear about idea and draw their own mental picture. Some are concerned about the practicality of the idea. Some are convinced with just outline of idea and they develop their own details. Some need to read minute details. Some need past example of success. You need to recognize the filter by which the other process the information and the patterns through which they operate. Yourself and others, इनके filters आप recognize करें and doing so will let you achieve successful stepping in the process of learning. Okay? Body language. Although it is a vast subject and it's impossible to cover it in a short time, but I'll try my best to give you some basic views. Eyes are windows to the soul. Why is this said? What's the importance of this? 5 minutes break.
Then we can have a question.
Okay. So 5 minutes break. I'm here. Any questions? Or if we have any on the chat, I don't know. So nothing yet. Okay. So house is open for any question that so far I might get a seat. थोड़ा रिफ्रेश कर दें. सुबह से हमने पहले तो हमने ये देखा ना कि माइंड ब्रेन इनमें क्या फर्क है, कॉन्शियस अनकॉन्शियस माइंड की पावर क्या है, कैसे चल रहा है. फिर उसके बाद हमारी अपनी पर्सनैलिटी टाइप्स बाकी चीज़ें. इसमें कोई कंफ्यूजन है, कोई चीज़ है जो या वो पार्टिसिपेंट जो जिन्होंने देर से ज्वाइन किया है वो अगर कोई एस्पेक्ट डिस्कस करके पूछना चाहें टू मेक द बेस्ट यूज ऑफ इट. Yeah, sure.
We were talking about beliefs, and we talked that it's necessary for growth to challenge the beliefs. What I suppose that
मैं उसको चैलेंज नहीं कहूँगा, मैं उसे कहूँगा assess.
Okay.
Assess and challenge if needed.
Okay.
ठीक है? तो assess करें. Whether what you are believing is working for you, ठीक है, is working for you and the larger system, और it's ये आखिर में मैं आउटकम सेटिंग्स में दिखाऊंगा. मैं आपको बताऊंगा कि सिर्फ आपकी अपनी अहमियत नहीं होती, आप जिस लार्जर सिस्टम का पार्ट है उसकी भी अहमियत होती है. अच्छा चलो हम थोड़ी देर के लिए एज्यूम कर लेते हैं कि आपके पास एक ऐसा बिलीव है कि जो जिसको आपको चैलेंज करना जरूर, ठीक है. तो अब आप मुझे वहाँ से अब अपना क्वेश्चन आगे रिलेट करके बताओ कि क्या पूछना चाह रही हो चैलेंज वाले. What do you want to ask about the challenge?
मैं चाह रही हूँ कि sometimes एक इंडिविजुअल को ये पता ही नहीं होता कि उसको अपने बिलीफ को ठीक करने की जरूरत है.
Yes.
He or she is fixing everything around but not the belief. So how we would come to know that there is a problem in our belief system? The first question. And if we come to the problem that there is something needed to be shifted or needed to be fixed in our belief system, so where to start? Means it's a complete shift, or either something like refining. So what process we should follow as a beginner?
Okay. So your question is that basically a person should know when to change or to challenge the belief. Okay. And before that, even a person should know that if there is a need for him or her to have a belief shift, okay, if there is a problem with his or her belief. And then after challenging, how to go about it. How to, whether it be incremental approach and how to do. This is the crux of what you are asking. Right? Okay. First of all, what you believe is helping you achieve what you want in life or not. Number one. Okay. I believe being positive helps me. So it's helping me. I don't need to play about with that belief. It's working okay. Being positive helps me in my relations, in my dealings, in my other areas of life. It is one objective of my life is to be successful with my relations, with my dealings, and being positive is helping me. So this belief is not in clash with this objective or part of my life. So I don't need to worry about that. But I'm in a problematic stage whenever I'm confronted. For example, if somebody comes and criticizes me, I get agitated easily. Okay? And I try to respond with, in a defensive mode and trying to give the answer back, or trying to clarify my position, and trying to come out as a very pious and honest person out of this argument. Then, yes, if I'm doing this all the time, then there may be a problem with my belief system. One belief system that I may be having is that I don't want to look like a loser. Okay? Achha. Now, unconsciously the belief is there, maybe it's producing this response within me, but I'm not aware of it. The belief is that I don't want to look like a loser. I don't want to appear like a loser. I need to win every argument. I need to convince. देखा मैंने ये जवाब दिया ऐसा, इस दूसरे को लाजवाब कर दिया, तो मैं कोई मुझे चुप करा दे ये possible नहीं है. These kind of beliefs, okay? So somebody is, it's not easy for me to gulp if I am, on the downside of an argument. So this belief is going to drive many types of emotional issues with me. My responses will be according to it. I need to reassess and understand. First question I need to ask is, why am I doing or why am I producing the responses that I am producing? I need to study my life over a longer period. Okay. And then second thing is, in NLP we give a full session training on giving and receiving feedback. First thing that NLP tries for you to do is, it prepares you to receive feedback. Walk to your family, walk to your colleagues, walk to your superiors, and ask them, look, you've been in interaction with me for so many years, so many days. Can you please provide me feedback on what are my odd responses or the not appropriate responses in different parts of time, and can you be candid and open about it? I need to understand that so that I can improve it. I tell you, not many of us do that. Not many of us do that. Our society may, in our society of gradation and all that, we are rarely talking about what we did. So obtain the feedback, and based on that feedback, you try to understand, okay, why am I doing it? There is a technique called, when we are doing the therapy, which is, मैंने उसका नाम रखा है, I call that a third person singular technique. Step out of your world. Mudassir is here, standing here. If Mudassir is having an argument with somebody, what Mudassir needs to do is step out of his body frame, stand there, and then observe Mudassir how is he arguing and what is he doing. That will tell me more about Mudassir than whilst being in the body. ठीक है ना? So as a third person observer point से आप उसको observe करें. Okay, this is how we do. After that, you come to realize that okay, I have my behavior has a root cause which is a feeling that I cannot have. Okay. अभी हम उसको आगे precision questions में भी cover करेंगे, so we will understand क्या है self calibration है. So okay, so Nadeem sir, can we continue with that? Okay.
सवाल जानना जो ज़्यादा इंटरेस्टेड है ओपन कर देंगे एक बजे तक।
बस 1 बजे तक हम कर लेंगे
उसको मतलब सवाल जवाब के लिए ज़्यादा करना।
अच्छा, when you are talking to someone and when you are in a meeting or चाहे वो रेस्टोरेंट पे डेट हो, चाहे बिजनेस मीटिंग हो, चाहे कुछ भी, eyes can tell you a lot. Okay, so imagine this is me standing and these are my eyeballs directions. Okay, this is VC and so forth. Achha. If I am looking to my upper side and right, this is visually constructing image. I am imagining something, a dream house or something. कुछ जब मैं करूँगा ना तो उस वक्त मेरी आंखों का eyeball movement यहाँ होगा. यानी आपको मेरी eyeball movement किस तरह दिखती है? Then auditory constructing is on a balanced level but on the right side. I am imagining sounds. I am creating music. Okay, and then kinesthetic या इमोशन रिलेटेड फिजिकल स्टेट्स है, फीलिंग कोल्ड, फीलिंग वार्म, फीलिंग हो, तो मैं मेरे राइट साइड पे नीचे की तरफ आने। अच्छा, सेम गोज फॉर विजुअली रिकॉलिंग। आई एम रिमेम्बरिंग माय नाना's हाउस, सो माय आई मूवमेंट विल बी ऑन दिस साइड, आई वाज इस तरफ। अच्छा, रिमेम्बरिंग अ सॉन्ग जो मैंने पहले सुन रखी है, द सॉन्ग दैट आई हैव लिसन्ड बिफोर, माय आई बॉल्स वुड बी ऑन टू दिस साइड। And if I'm in an auditory digital mode, deep internal negative state, I'm depressed, I'm in an internal dialogue, and my eye movement would be like this. Yeah, even face movement would be in this way. So when we teach NLP, we teach a lot about assessing the body movements and the gestures and the eye movement. They tell you a lot about the eyes. Achha. People tend to make body or hand movements in the same direction as the eyes according to the state they are. Okay. अब बॉडी मूवमेंट में भी कुछ एलिमेंट्स है ना, मैं बड़ी शॉर्टली आपको इसके ऊपर कवर करा देता हूँ। विजुअल थिंकिंग क्या होता है? जो विजुअल थिंकर्स हैं, विजुअल पर्सनैलिटीज हैं, व्हाट दे डू इज विजुअल पर्सनैलिटीज स्पीक क्विकली इन हाई वॉइस, ट्राइंग टू मैच देयर वर्ड्स विद द मेंटल इमेजेस। स्पीक क्विकली, दे हैव अ इमेज इन देयर माइंड and they want to speak about it, and before they even speak they have another image in their mind, so that's why they will try to speak, अरे यार जल्दी करो, ये बस ऐसे करना है, just do it quickly, just let's move on to this. So उससे आपको अंदाजा होगा, you will know that this person is visual in nature. Okay, and rapid shallow breathing and the gesture high in the air, वो हाथ उनके यहाँ जाए, ये देखो यार वो देखा, ठीक है? This kind of gestures जो है वो आपको बताएंगे visual है। Tension in body. Auditory thinking, rhythmic way, peacefully, आराम से, okay, mid tone, बहुत high pitch नहीं बोलना, ठीक है? The way I am talking now. अच्छा, gestures are lower than those from visual thinker. They won't put their arms up very often. They will be dealing, kinesthetically करते हैं। अच्छा, often have the head tilted to one side. तो अगर वो कोई बात सुन रहे हैं, उनके राइट साइड पे कोई सुन रहा है, तो वो आपको थोड़ा सा gesture रखा है, as if they are trying to focus more on through the ear. And they frequently touch their ears. बात करते हुए ये एक्शन, ये आपको उसमें auditory के अंदर भी नजर आएगा, and to some extent kinesthetic. फीलिंग्स में वही आ जाता है, गैस्ट्रेटरी, ऑल्फैक्टरी एंड किनेस्थेटिक। तो दे स्पीक स्लोली, रेजोनेंट वे, फ्रीक्वेंट साइलेंस इन बिटवीन सेंटेंस, ब्रीथ लो इन चेस्ट, डीप स्लो ब्रेथ्स, डाउनवर्ड्स टू द राइट हैंड, डाउनवर्ड राइट, लेट बैक बॉडी पोस्चर, जैसे मैंने अभी डिसएसोसिएटेड स्टेट में बताया, द वे आई एक्सप्लेन इन द डिसएसोसिएटेड स्टेट। तो दिस इज द बॉडी लैंग्वेज ऑफ दोज हु आर ऑन द किनेस्थेटिक, ऑल्फैक्टरी और गैस्ट्रेटरी type of personality. Achha, this subject is very wide, so I cannot cover it for you in this very short thing, but I'll just give you some basic things which you need to observe on understanding the body language. The elements that depicts body language are your voice, your accent, your tone, rhythm, body posture, muscle movement, facial expression, and the skin color. You know, you've learned about when you are shy, then your skin turns slightly pink or something like that. It changes the color. Accent, eye movement, I've just explained that. Head and face movement. Again, eye movement is a repetition. Arms and hand gesture, intonation and pauses. And then remember that there are also other elements which reflects our innermost thoughts. Again, speed, mouth, timings of movement, breathing, eye contact, head movement, emphasis, facial lines, head position, breathing rate, hesitation, and so on and so forth. What I'm saying is 10%. How I'm saying it is 90%. And what our body language depicts and conveys is 90%. Okay? So that is important. How we present information is much important than what we are presenting. Paying attention to the body language will let us know when to end a conversation. If the person that you're talking to is not interested, his body language will show. Okay, and if you'll know it if the other person understood us, level of rapport, agreement, what degree we have motivated others, and what body language of our own work best in getting the message through. And the etiquette of a different culture. When we are going to a different country, we tend to learn from their body language as well. Okay? So, now I'm coming more to the linguistic part. Linguistic covers what you speak to yourself and the others. What do I mean by enriched communication?
Positive communication.
Both are getting through their messages.
Impactful.
The kind of messages you want to get.
The words we use.
Okay. Let's look at something which is contrary to the enriched communication. Can you read the text below this paragraph? Let me know when you've completed. Read it? Okay. Now can you read this line? When you're communicating with humans, with your fellow beings and all that, this is an example of not enriched communication. This is an example of neutral language. Business reports are full of that. When somebody try to tell you to teach you एक अच्छी business report कैसे लिखनी है, उसमें बहुत सारी चीजें सर्व कर रही हैं. Okay, maybe for that purpose वो अपना वहाँ पे सर्व कर रही है, but this communication is not touching the reader. Okay, अब मैं एक और passage आपको बताता हूँ. I'll show you another passage. Now read these three short paragraphs. It is about a passenger who is going on a flight, and when the plane rises above the cloud level, what he sees and how he is explaining.
That's full of emotions and thoughts.
Why we call it sensory rich?
Sensory activities.
The sense. All five.
Yeah, it's appealing to your five senses, or some of those five senses. It's appealing more as compared to the first para that we read. Okay? Now, I show you where it is doing that. I saw it rises, hiding serenity and tranquility. Eyes can see. Recall listening. Ice cream castle is imagination. And then never before I imagined just viewing. So there are visually construction and visually recalling and all the other fancy, the feeling parts are there. ये जो communication है, this kind of communication will have a deep and profound impact on the other party. Okay? As compared to a business report. Examples. Visual will use, I get the picture. It's clear now. I see what you mean. Okay? You can understand what the Urdu synonyms would be. यार मुझे अब ये समझ आ गई नजर आ रहा है. ठीक है? और it's clear now and I see what you mean. Auditory would say that sounds good. It rings a bell for me. I hear what you are saying. ठीक है? मैं सुन रहा हूँ तुम्हारी बात. अच्छा. And olfactory would say something smells fishy in this. Yeah. Okay? And the whole idea stinks. These are the communication traits which they use or you can use with them if they are olfactory. Gustatory is, let's discuss this over dinner. What will it appeal to the taste of public at large? I have a bad gut feeling about this. Okay. And then kinesthetic is, that feels right. The idea has touched me. Okay. And he was giving a cold shoulder in the meeting. Okay, you can understand it. उर्दू में भी इसके मुतरादिफात होंगे, उस तरीके से आप यूज करेंगे. So what the excellent communicator does is that they use the system preferred by the person they are speaking to, or at least initially if they want to build a rapport. Communication appealing to senses and with clarity are far more effective. अब ये एक इदारे में ना, in one institution there are two statements about emergency procedures. Read the first statement and then read the second statement. Which one is more appealing? Which one? Second one. Why is it more appealing to you? Or more easy to understand what things are? It touches your sensory aspects and it gives you more clarity. Okay? Or first one is like वो जो business like बस वो एक line है उसके हिसाब से.
The first one is also appealing.
But comparatively, when we say comparatively, I think the second one is more appealing. First one does not touch you with so many sensory patterns, right?
It's like the second one is giving you complete directions.
Complete direction, what to do.
It's like the
it's like somebody talking to you.
Yeah, and smooth sailing towards that thing instead of going there and looking for it. What
exactly,
is it, where is it?
Exactly, and it gives you more clarity. First one is a vague account of emergency procedures. Which procedures? Where are they written? What's happening? It's not clear in that light. Okay? Metaphors. Interesting thing. Unconscious mind is we've told you how to get connected with your unconscious mind. Metaphors is a magical thing that lets you connect with your unconscious mind. A story to understand a story. Communication without metaphor is like a garden without flowers. Without flower, the garden would be only green. That's all. To some extent brown. Okay, but mostly green. It won't be that beautiful. That's right. Have you heard of a phrase, enclose the river in an urn? The riya ko kuze mein ban gaya. Okay? What metaphor does is, do we sometimes or some of us think of life as bed of roses? Or work as a battleground? Life is a bed of roses, ye chumla kahin suna hoga. Now imagine, I'm just telling you life is a bed of roses. What kind of mental image is coming to your mind? Just right now, bed of roses. Will come back? Is there a room? What color room is it?
Red.
Red. Okay. And what color bed is it? give different answer, don't worry. But you must be having a color, a size of a room, and there is some rose petals spread on the bed or full roses maybe. But a picture is coming to your mind. Okay? So,
but when we imagine this life as a bed of roses, so we can imagine our comforts in our life.
Comforts are life, but the actual image is coming to your mind. That image may be a constructed image or maybe an image that you have seen in the past. Okay? So, whatever the metaphor, it emerges in the words, expression, physiology, we use it and influences our own and our experience. It communicates a lot of complex information in a very compact package. So what it does is, I just said to you, life is a bed of roses, and in your mind there comes an image with the room size, windows, and space, and maybe a daylight coming from window, or a night time, and then you have a certain color of bed, and then you have the pattern of roses which are spread on the bed, and it's for you to provide comfort to you to sit or sleep, and so on. Now, if I were to explain all these sentences one by one, you get bored. Okay? Or maybe it will not match. I said, imagine a room, it is white color, imagine a room, it has a window in it, imagine a room, it has a bed in it, and things like that. Instead of doing that, now all those sentences I am speaking to your conscious mind, the one that thinks and processes the information. But if I want to touch upon your unconscious mind, I just say one short sentence, life is a bed of roses. During my talk and speech, I'll just say, oh, it's like a bed of roses. And it's like a bed of roses. This takes you straight to your unconscious mind, to that image, and gives you all the detail without me spending half an hour trying to speak what it would mean. Okay. Unconscious mind stores memory in visuals. This is one thing which I may have missed out earlier to explain, but it doesn't store memory in words. Unconscious mind में जो memory store होती है, it's stored in visual, in images. Apple. Can you think of an apple? Can somebody tell me what color or shape is it?
Red.
No, the one that's coming in your mind. Red. Size? About normal? Is it on a table or something? Okay. Not alright, whatever, but you know what apples look like. If I show you a picture of a cat and I say it's an apple, would you be confused? If I show you a picture of a cat and I say it is an apple, will you be confused?
No.
Why not?
We are in our earlier stages that what is the difference between an apple and a cat?
That's
No. I'm showing you a live cat here, and I'm telling you that this is an apple. Will you be confused?
No. Because it's an
Yes or no?
unconscious mind creates a color.
I tell you how different it will. You will be confused.
Yes.
You will be confused. You will say, no, this is cat. This is not apple. Apple is something which is about this size and it's a red or green color and it looks like a roundish object and it's a fruit that we eat. A cat is something different. Now you see, in your visual unconscious mind, apple is stored as an image.
इनको ये कहा जा सकता है कि you being a teacher, you're telling this is not a cat, this is an apple, और आप खुद से के confuse होंगे ना क्योंकि उनको marks मिल रहे हैं, तो उनको ये apple ही कहना है.
Okay, but what I'm trying to say is elephant. You can imagine an elephant. एक picture आपके ज़हन में आ गई. Now, and every time somebody speaks about elephant, you get that mental picture. The very first picture that you registered in your unconscious. Okay, so you recognize that this is elephant. This is how the unconscious mind works. The metaphor, what it does is, it bypasses the conscious mind processing and link the unconscious mind to the subject matter of communication, and there comes the attention and relatability in milliseconds. Okay?
This is brain mapping.
Brain mapping automatically. So you use that. अच्छा, variations, metaphorical attachments कैसे build करते हो? Somebody is saying a statement. अब मैं आपको थोड़ा सा उस पे लेके आ रहा हूँ. What's happening behind when somebody is using some statements? I need to combat his response. First one, I did that for you. Try to find the metaphorical attachment. If somebody is saying I need to combat his response, then the metaphorical attachment that is going in is interaction with him is a battle. Okay? Now, second statement, we can overcome objections. What would be the metaphorical attachment of that person who says that we can overcome objections?
Arguments. Negotiation.
Possibility. We can climb every mountain.
In not one word, but you can give a sentence.
We can climb every mountain.
We have to discuss.
There can be many possibilities, but the most related ones would be objections are something which are to be climbed upon. Objections are something which has to be overcome and move forward. ये उसके mind में hurdles. Objections are hurdles. अच्छा. On to another person who does not see objections as hurdles, you will say that our objections the objections will make us learn more in this exercise.
Happy to take challenges.
Yeah. Okay. We are on track to achieve what we want. What would be the metaphorical attachment going in the mind behind that?
On the right path.
Route.
You have to be on a path, on a route. And if you are less likely to deviate. If you deviate, you may not achieve what you want. Okay? So this is not true in all aspects of life. Okay? You can't just see it, you set a path and you work upon it.
Flexibility.
Okay, business has died down. Somebody says that.
Collapsed.
Single word collapsed.
Collapse, but what is the metaphorical attachment that is doing?
Finish.
Impression be it. And then there is one thing that business is something that's born and that dies. Okay? So business is like, he has made a metaphorical attachment that business will be good and flourishing, thriving in the start, and then go to maturity, and then ultimately it has to die like a human. Okay? Which is not necessarily the required case at all time. उनके जहन में जो चल रहा है, whatever that's running in their mind ना, वो we need to find out. We need to keep our heads down. Now the early age students and the colonial time of support,
Just
right?
to follow.
Okay, we should not raise the concern. We should not. It's safe. We are safe when we
Follow
do
the
not
orders. You need to follow the orders.
Yeah. So ये statements हैं जहाँ आप metaphorical attachments को discover कर सकते. Precision questions of meta model, ये इसके ऊपर भी यानी this is something which we teach to law enforcement and we will teach to lawyers and all the other areas where investigations and all are required. Do you remember the distort, delete, and generalize statements the filters that you learned? Okay, now you're clear about that. How to escape or undo the effect of the DDG, जो हम इसमें कहते हैं, Wilson communication. अच्छा, it is a very vast subject and it has the delete and distort and generalize have many sub branches in it, which is mind reading or loss performative and all that. मगर ये इस वक्त बहुत लंबा चला जाता है. I won't be able to cover it in this short time. So that's why I just give you a glimpse of what is happening. We need tools like precision questions or meta modeling to undo the effect of delete, distort, and generalize if the other person is used. Okay? I'll give you some precision questions examples on some statements. Deletion statements. Somebody comes to you and says, I want a change. यार मुझे तब्दीली चाहिए. What that person is doing is deleting some information out of it, is not elaborating what kind of change is required. So your precision question would be, what change do you want? And if somebody comes to you and says, I have lots of skills, he says, what skill are those? She rejected me. How exactly did she reject you? Again, then you see the answer to these questions will help you undelete most of the things and bring back the things in there. Distortion statements. I know you don't believe me. How do you know that? Okay? Boys will be boys. What has to be proved to consider boys as boys? Okay? Because of you, I feel worthless. What exactly I do to make you feel that? Okay? And the generalized statements, he never listens to me. The precision question would be never. That's all. Okay? And all companies are greedy. Simple, one word question. All. And I can't relax. And sometimes we give an opposite statement as a question. What happens if you relax now? That makes them think on, calibrated. So these are very short examples of what I've given. Otherwise, it takes about 4 to 5 days workshop on how to train people to bring about the truth.
This kind of language.
Therapists, investigators, lawyers, and they have to be excellent in these precision questions and all the other areas. Meta messages, that's also interesting. What's that? Meta message से क्या मुराद है?
The message
Anything that comes to your mind.
the message we are giving to our mind is like the guidance that comes from the mind or we are giving to the mind.
Okay.
Just like no time is
You see, in this session, it's not about giving the right answer or wrong answer. It's about participating.
It's about the first answer comes
Yeah, it comes to your mind. Okay. Any other views?
Like in poetry, sometimes they provide meta messages. Like it's
Thinking about her
Letting poets do that, getting close. Any other idea?
Thinking about your thinking, like what are you thinking? You should know.
Okay.
Short correlation.
Okay. This side खामोश है.
Is it about pragmatics?
About?
Pragmatics, underlying situations?
We are moving around it, but ये core concept चलिए मैं discuss करता हूँ. ये पढ़ें आप जरा. Some children are running around the pool, edge of the swimming pool.
Nature of someone, like children has the nature that they don't stop
The parent has taken the children to a resort or something and there's a pool.
Stop them, yeah.
And the parents are asking them not to run near the pool because the parents are afraid they might fall in the pool or something. And then their parent is saying, if you don't stop running on the edge of the pool, I'll take you home.
But sir, what if the child is taking for granted his parents' orders? So he just stopped for a while and then again he started running.
But you'll be surprised when I say to you what is the meta message there.
That's the nature of a person. I think we are doing good job having the nature.
So he got the vibes that he can do that. Like, stimulus pushing and like.
You're getting close, you're getting very close. Okay. The meta message from parent to children is, I will threaten you with a consequence, but I will not carry it out.
Yes, sir, exactly. This was the point that I was trying to convey.
Yeah, that's
that,
right.
the child has known the actions of their parents, so that's why he is taking for
The complete meta message from the parent is that I will threaten you, but I will not carry it.
That's the pattern.
Right? And the children know. Okay? So we need to make sure that whatever our meta message goes to the environment or to the other people, okay, that is not contradictory like this. Okay? We should choose the words which we are willing to act upon. आपने रिकॉल करें कि we just not communicate through words but through postures, gestures, stances and movement actions. The meta message is collectively from all of those and not just the words. So we usually respond to the meta messages unconsciously, and we usually give meta messages unconsciously as well. So we have to be just careful.
That meta message is always linked with a reward or punishment?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Meta messages, obviously they have an objective to communicate something.
Yeah.
You know, but you have to be careful. Like if I'm a store salesman, and if a customer approaches, and if I'm saying, yes sir, what do you want? Yeah, I took my mobile out and it says, okay, you will find this on this shelf over there. My meta message is not good. If I'm a salesman and I want to increase my sales, my meta message is definitely not good. And if I have to be leaving everything and I have to be attentive to the person. Sir, what do you want? How can I help you? Okay. Will you be okay with looking at by yourself, or we need some assistance? And then I work with them if they require. This is my whole complete meta message that is going. For them, it's an experience. So what kind of experience I'm giving to others, that's important. So now the programming part. What we repeatedly do, we are what we repeatedly do, so it's not an act but a habit. As a habitual person, what we are is what we are. So we need to better make sure that it's a good habit होती है. Modeling, वह इसके ऊपर बहुत लंबी जा सकती है. Rather than going through or taking you to a very long tour on explaining what's happening in these pictures.
To exhibit something in terms of response or reaction. Okay,
I make it easy. This lady is doing something. This gentleman is doing something.
Yeah.
And this gentleman is doing something. Observing. Observing for what?
Current scenario. What is going on?
What is going on? How would it benefit them to know what is going on?
It's a feedback kind of objective. They
How to deal with
get
them.
something, so they're like observing the environment first.
Exactly. We call this modeling, जो मैंने NLP में कहा था ना कि we need to codify the experiences of the excellent performers or champions on what they do. If I need to prepare, if I'm an athlete and a boxing athlete and I need to prepare my fighting skills and I need to watch the videos of how Muhammad Ali used to move in the ring and how we used to tackle the opponents. What I'm doing is by watching those videos is I am doing the modeling on how the excellent performance are doing. This person is actually observing what is the athlete preparation of body language and what are these movements and what's going through. Maybe he's observing what's going through his head to some extent. This person is also observing how the group is negotiating or whatever. And this may be a therapist who's trying to understand what's going on between the husband and wife and how the matters are going on. Modeling, in short, by definition it is the conscious awareness of what others or ourselves are doing consciously or unconsciously. Okay? With the conscious awareness, we have the choice to do the same or to do something else. Once we are consciously aware of what others are doing, we can study that and then we can say, okay, this is good, I can adapt to that. Or this is not good, I should refrain from that. Okay, these kind of decisions. Best is to be detached and choose what we do and more importantly, what we continue to do in future. इसकी एग्जाम्पल मैं आपको ये कह सकता हूँ कि which of the following methods of training produces best results? Attending a theory course or going through the process with a mentor for a certain time?
Second one, that is practically important.
Why would it give you better results? First of all, it's a hands-on. Going through it.
Experience.
It can retain in brain for a long time if you are doing something.
And with the mentor,
sensory practice because we are
Yes.
involving in that practice.
and the mentor walks you through it. To
Modeling, that is.
Exactly.
Role model.
So just like you say, the swimming you can't learn it on a video tutorial. Driving a car you can't learn it on a video tutorial. You have to be in it. So some fields, some sciences, and some just like mind sciences as well. Okay. I mean, while I'm standing here explaining these aspects to you today is more effective as compared to if you watch a YouTube tutorial. Because you are clearing your mind, you're asking questions and you're going through this. That's why when we go through the therapies of NLP, we say it's always in person. It's less effective when online. Okay? Achha. So modeling, you notice what the others are doing for their excellence and you codify that and how it works. And you can even modify that if you require. Who are the models of excellence to whom you admire and wish to emulate in your family, your work, the world at large? Then we must be having some ideal personalities that we have best regard for. Today when you leave from this session, go and think about that person or those persons and what traits that you like in them and how you try to emulate them and how you try to copy that and how can you further refine. The people which have been the main influence here today, what is about each person that you have incorporated, you have just explained. Young children are best modelers, you know that. How they model others, they are best. They just observe you. And then they copy the style and things and everything. वो बचपन में भी ना वो गुड़िया गुड्डे की शादी जो थी वो एक किसी रियल सिनेरियो से परसीव करके बना दिया. Okay? Okay, now we just coming about to the last topic. We heard a lot about goal setting, objective setting, setting this goal, setting that goal. But sometimes it doesn't work. So in this line I've told you something which is apart from the normal, I will challenge some of the basic concepts as well. But achieve what you really want. You need to be clear on what you really want. Okay? In the outcome settings in life. Are you badly affected by? I've just put down 3 things, but this is a long list. Are you affected by politics or politicians? Are you affected by the unpredictable weather?
Nowadays.
Nowadays. Economic recession? Okay. Now you'll be surprised with the next line that I have to put there. How have we not learned that one of the most fragile way to set goal is to keep our focus on profits, income, self-interest, personal gain? Why am I saying this is a fragile way? Profit. Profit होना तो अच्छी बात है. It looks like gain a profit is a good thing, and to have high income is also a good thing. It appears a good thing, and self-interest is also
It does not
important.
sustain.
And personal gain, good thing. वो वरना वो allow me to say वो कभी कभी बोली बाबा भी दीवार पे स्टार लगाते हैं महबूब आपके कदमों में and this and that. All those are the personal gain things and all that. So why I'm saying this, that these are fragile ways. Okay, let's dissect it in the next slides. Some key concepts that you need to remember. Towards instead of a way outcome. अब मैं concepts और principles आपको बता रहा हूँ जो आपकी objective setting. पिछली slide में वो जो fragile ways थी ना वो इस वजह से थी कि उसमें से बहुत सारी चीज़ों का कंट्रोल आपके हाथ में नहीं था. Unpredictable. यानी you need to understand कि आपका सर्कल ऑफ इन्फ्लुएंसर से बाहर की क्या क्या चीज़ें तो जिन पे आप अपना वो प्रॉफिट्स और इनकम और बाकी सब को लेके चल रहे हो उनमें जरूरी नहीं कि सारे आपके कंट्रोल में. अच्छा, अब आपको ऑब्जेक्टिव सेटिंग पे ना रिवायती चीज़ें क्या कहती है. पहली तो ये कि अवे आउटकम. व्हाट यू डोंट वांट प्लीज डू नॉट थिंक ऑफ व्हाट यू डोंट वांट. Wherever you're setting an objective, you should think about what you want. Okay? And that is important. Hurdles, We can think about that later. But write a vision statement that what you want to do, where you want to be, what you want to achieve. Then secondly, some training they teach you, usually to be HR training, that your goals should be SMART. SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, and realistic, and time bound. Okay? I beg to differ slightly on this. These are for short objectives or goals, yes. But if you really want to achieve something big in life, the R and S can give you issues. I give the example of Muhammad Ali in boxing. Do you think to become a world champion in those days when he was struggling would be realistic for him? And if he used the realistic principle, would he go for that goal? Right? And specific target. Sometimes when you go specific in your goals, you become specific in your goals, you limit yourself. Okay? Try to remove, I'll show you on the next slide some examples. Are the goals within our control with respect to achievement? Can we achieve them, or is it the strings are in some other person's hand as well, or it's in the hand of the system as well? We need to understand that. Is it the win for the bigger system? Is it only for my self-interest, or is it going to be beneficial for my family, for my environment, for my society at large? We should ask this question when we are setting up our goal and objective. And believe me, if it is not good for the society or the bigger system at large, nature will not help you in achieving your goal, as much as it would help to a person who is thinking about benefiting the society. Achha, is it linked with your, is it worth to be achieved? I want to climb Mount Everest tomorrow. What would be its worth for me? A title? Climber? For some, yes. But for me, maybe no. Okay? Is it linked with your identity and purpose? What do you think? What do you think you are? बहुत सी ट्रेनिंग होती है जिसमें मैं पहले वो क्वेश्चन करता हूँ कि introduce yourself. Who are you? In one word. So let's just do a very short thing. Think of one word that best describes you. It can be an adjective, it can be any quality, it can be any random answer. Human.
Seeker.
Speaker.
Seeker.
Researcher. Researcher. Observer.
A giver.
A giver. Leader. Great. In the early days when I was myself attending the training and I was asked this question, I gave them a thoughtful question which what sort of answer there should I give. Then after having studied all the authors and all that, I gave them an answer. I said, I'm a lover because love is the greatest of all stimuli. And it contains all the compassion, care, and giving, and all things that we do. Motivations and everything. Okay, power does not stimulate so many things as love does. Okay, so if it is, whatever the objective, is it linked with your identity and purpose? I just explained the identity and purpose in your life setting. And are you willing to pay the cost? जो objective है उसके लिए बहुत finances लगेंगे, a lot of efforts and finances. Are you willing to pay that? And are you acting on it, or are you just sitting and want somebody else to come and let you act on it or start on it? And then what are your measuring success or hurdles? A lot of time businesses, hotels, they give you a questionnaire at the end of the good 5-star type of hotel. They give you a questionnaire at the end of the stay and they ask you, how was your experience? And then sometimes they ask, was the hot water running good? Was the bed sheets clean? And what is this? Sometimes they contain the negative statements. Did you find anything dirty in the room? Did you find any cleaning problems? तो वो जो क्वेश्चन का डिजाइन होता है, डिजाइन ऑफ द क्वेश्चन टेल्स यू द वेट एंड फोकस इज. ठीक है, आर यू मेजरिंग द हर्डल्स और आर यू मेजरिंग द सक्सेस और द पॉजिटिव एस्पेक्ट्स. नाउ लेट्स सी आउटकम थिंकिंग के नतीजे में क्या होता है. थिंक ऑफ इट. Do you think the following goals are achievable through outcome thinking? To be number one. I'm just throwing this slide to make you think, to let your brain process work on the mind process work on the thinking. To be number one, is it a good outcome? To win the race? To cut the legs from under our competitors? To get married and have children? To achieve the profit target, to lose weight and to make my children happy and successful. Some of these objectives may look very appropriate and all that, but I'm telling you, these are not all sometimes linked to the outcome thinking that we need to have on the larger level. Okay. Maybe these are on the wish list, but they will be outside of our control or may not be in best interest of others. Let's see what kind of outcome thinking we need to have in life. To be an example of, अच्छा वो मैंने जब specific से आप देखें मैंने थोड़ा सा ना vague कर दिया. I made them a little vague instead of being specific. Okay, that's the S difference in the SMART principle. To be an example of caring entrepreneurial leader. Does it give you room now to operate at any level? Okay, so due to its flexibility, it is becoming more achievable. Acha, to achieve my personal best in whatever field I choose. Can you thrive for that and can you attain it at certain levels in your fields? Okay. Acha, to be true to myself so that I attract people who like me for who I am. Okay. And then we see to work in a way that is supportive to others. Again, you will give a really baat about this case also. Okay. To achieve a role in life that is a position of leading others in a high-tech business, or maybe high-tech, you can replace the high-tech with some other business or some other type of work. To create a climate of learning and fun in all or most of my interactions with others, and to be the kind of parent who can support my children emotionally and practically. Now you see the last line is apparently better than the previous one, to make my children happy and successful. Okay? This line, to be the kind of parent who can support my children emotionally and practically, is... If a child can be happy with a negative thing, then your objective should not be to make a child happy at all times. Okay? That's what I'm saying. You see, what I did is I have just broadened the specificness of those goals and objectivity on a higher level. So आपकी identity के साथ it works best. Okay, Nadeem sir, let's ask you to complete it by 12:30 so we can have questions and answers. And my contact information is also there if you want any future references. This was about 2 to 3 hour session, and I honestly say that it is not enough to give you a full go of what NLP does. It has more or less like 20 modules. I've just touched upon the very basics ones and on the very basic level, so for your thought process. But when we train somebody in that, it is usually like a 10 weeks program. 10 weeks on a weekend or a Sunday, 2 to 3 hours, 4 hours every Sunday. And this goes for 10 Sundays, consecutive Sundays. What we do is we teach a basic module of concept and we give them 1 week's time to practice that in life and implement that in life. And then the next week when we come back and we give you the walkthrough on the second module, the second area, on the belief management, on the rapport building, on creating influence, on designing your communication strategies, on so on and so forth, timeline and all. So this is where I'm accessible. if you ever wanted to get interested or to go further on that. Now, on to this part. What is there anything that you feel that is not answered or not discussed on according to what you were thinking at the start of the program?
Some techniques of NLP.
Techniques do require, okay, techniques, मैं आपको बताता हूँ कि first and foremost techniques, it has its roots in other areas, specialties, frequency, and attaining your proper mental frequency, and then getting in touch with your unconscious mind.
How to in touch with our unconscious mind?
Okay, there is simply a breathing pattern technique. You sit, relax, remove all metal from your body, you sit in a relaxed environment, deep breathe, lamba सांस लें, and then you hold that breath and then you release it. After that, you reduce your brain frequency, your thinking frequency. Normally we operate on 14 to 20 hertz or something, and then we need to reduce that frequency. इसको हम कहते हैं बुनुकी वाली स्टेज. When you are trying to wake up, but you are not fully awake, but you are conscious about your environment, and you are just waking up, or just before you are going to sleep. That kind of a state is called the reduced frequency or reduced frequency, because our unconscious mind works on a reduced frequency. Our conscious mind works on a higher frequency. And all the other frequency cycles in the nature are working on a reduced frequency cycle.
But so we need a mentor for this thing. If we all
Yes.
Without
yes.
mental,
No,
we can't achieve these.
We need to, okay, it's open. You can watch a YouTube video and you can try it, but what happens if you are not able to achieve that? You see, in these kind of things, what happens is that to know the concept, to learn the thing, what it is and how it works, I can watch a YouTube video. I will encourage people to do that. But what if they are not able to achieve that? Then you need a person standing next to you, saying, okay, look, you're not achieving it, so do this, try that. But once you reduce that frequency and you are in touch with your unconscious mind, then it's just moving your awareness to the unconscious pattern, and then the connection is established. उसके बाद after that you do what you want, you can give a little.
So for this thing, you need NLP techniques.
Yeah, of course.
It's the type of therapy, it's not like a learning of NLP.
No. NLP.
देखिए दो चीजें, एक चीज है NLP को सीखना और एक चीज है इसको एक्सपीरियंस करना. तो सर इन दोनों में डिस्टिंग्विश करते हैं. अभी हमने NLP के बारे में जाना. But when we, what you are saying that we
actually अभी तो जाना ही नहीं है.
अभी तो आपको
it is just a drop of NLP.
Yeah,
it's just an overview. It's a teaser.
Overview, yes.
I can't teach you NLP in 3 hours.
Yes, obviously.
Whereas it has to be like 10 weeks or, I would say 20 weeks as well. But to be able to learn it, अच्छा ये 10 weeks में आपको क्या होगा कि in 10 weeks you will learn what is NLP and how to apply on yourself. But after that, you practice for some years, and once you are really good at it, then you can teach others and give therapies to others. So that's how it goes. Okay,
Yeah.
But you need a lot of
Brain
experience.
frequency you were insinuating. Because I'm a psychologist student myself, so maybe you were talking about mindfulness, right? If I'm not wrong. Like we are meditating and like we are trying to engage and ground ourselves. इसमें हम लोग, because I meditate a lot as well.
That's a good thing.
उसमें भी यही होता है कि you feel your brain get quiet, and that's when you are encoding very much directly into your brain of what you want. And one thing which you were mentioning about कि हम किस तरीके से filter out करते हैं. There is a term which we reticular awareness system, right? RAS. And RAS.
Yes.
So इसमें होता है कि we have a part of our brain in which we know the filter, right? हम लोग उसमें inhibit भी कर रहे हैं information को. मतलब हमारा brain का एक filter है जिसमें we are actively engaging with the kind of information we are interested in, and deleting all that information.
NLP में इसमें techniques हैं. I mean, there are techniques in NLP. What we do is first of all, तो frequency attainment जब आप कर लेते हैं ना, तो when you are connected with your unconscious mind, उसके बाद आपकी यानी one key point in NLP is whatever that you want, you must in that state start experiencing it in the present, as if you are enjoying that right now. अच्छा, unconscious mind है, इसको past, future और present का कोई फर्क नहीं. It does not know the difference between past, future and present. अच्छा, एक example मैं आपको देता हूँ. Where do you see me? On the stage? Because I'm appearing to you standing here. I'll ask this question again. Where are you seeing me? On the stage. The right answer would be, although the answer that you're giving me is also right, okay, but another approach to understand that would be, my image is appearing to your eye on the retina. This light and image, the complete package is going into your retina, and after that it's going to the optic nerve, and the optic nerve is taking it to a certain part of your mind.
That is medial prefrontal cortex.
Right, okay, so the medical profession is good, much better, okay, and it is that part of your brain and where your mind sees me, okay. Now, just for a moment, just close your eyes very honestly. Where do you see me?
Just you there when
I'm at the stage.
But
But not on the same spot, right?
Displacement.
But the moment I ask you where do you see me after closing your eyes, you imagine me sitting on the same spot.
Yes.
The picture that came to your mind is sitting on the same spot. You see, to unconscious mind, it is a slave. It's a Aladdin ka genie. It's the Aladdin genie, which is asking you, what can I do for you? It's never tired. It has 275,000 times faster speed and all that. But it doesn't know what's the outer world looks like. It's only what we show it. So the tip is, once you are in touch with your unconscious mind, be the meditations and all that, similar to meditations, when we do this therapy, we ask you to close your eyes and then start your imagination. And then in that imagination, just like you saw me whilst I was here, but you just saw me there. No? So to your unconscious mind, the reality was the same. I'm there. You can imagine me anywhere, on that corner, this corner, close your eyes and you can imagine me. So you can train your unconscious mind for all these aspects, for all the positivity, for all the belief cleansing, for all the other aspects, and it will start working in your benefit. That's the point. Now this happens with therapies. It's not something which is like a chapter of a book or something like that you can do. So that's why we say we are working more on how to use that potential of your unconscious mind, how to use it for the best, how to use it for the things that you want to induce in it, achieve it, and how to just reprogram it. If you think your programs are not good, Allah has given so much potential and power, and it's just we need to understand, okay, what am I going to use and how I'm going to reprogram it. And it works. We all have problems in life. It's not that we are not going to be living without problems. After learning NLP, I will not guarantee you will not have a relationship problems. You will not have anything else. But you will be a better person to deal with those problems.
Exactly.
And better person to come out of those problems and also to bring others out of those problems. See, why I'm standing here today is because some day, when I was learning this, I made a vow to myself that whatever that I'm going to learn, I have to pass it on. This is something that nature would like.
So problem always give you strength.
Strength and it should also give you the power to pass on this strength. I was watching a film, I think it was Lucy, 2014 film, which has a concept that a lady's brain was started acting under a drug influence by the. Yes, and it goes to 100%. That's a very good film that you should watch. But in that dialogue, I learned one of the objectives of that. There was this Morgan Freeman, I think it was the professor. One of the students asked him, "What is the objective of life?" And he said, "Look at the tiniest part of your body. It's a cell, biological cell, right?
Yeah.
First, in the cell there is an outer membrane, then there is a cytoplasm, and then there is a nucleus and all that. What happens is it starts getting squeezed from the middle, बीच दरमियान से सिकुड़ता है, and then it breaks, divides into two cells. Okay, and then those two cells they again reproduce in a way that they start getting reduced from the middle, and those two become 4, and then exponential growth, 2 to 4, 4 to so on and so forth. Then he says, what happened to the first cell? The question is, what happens to the first cell? Yes, you see, the answer was that it passes what it has and possesses and disappears. One day we are all going to disappear from this room, from this earth, from this.
Yes.
तो मिसाल के वो दरख्त का जो बीज है वो हम होते हैं तो दरख्त के बीज में दरख्त जो दरख्त का बीज होता ही नहीं है.
Obviously. So with this
Neutralized.
To be able to pass something better, you need to understand that you have something better. And these sciences are all about that. What better you have. Otherwise, we are just a normal human being, striving for profits, striving for incomes, striving for a big car, for a house. And after all that striving, we will be just wearing one dress and living alone. But what we have passed out matters, and for that, you need to have these kind of sciences to enable us. I'm not undermining there are other sciences and areas of mathematics.
If you allow, I can just add a little bit of it.
Sure.
This NLP and this Lucy movie is my best, like my most favorite movie, and I recommend my students in the very first class. You have to watch it.
That's right.
और जिन्होंने देखी होती है उनसे मैं कुछ लेक्चर देते हैं उसके बाद कहती हूँ आप दोबारा देखिए और then we'll watch it. I'll ask you these questions again. Just a tiny mini thing. Like mashallah आपने बहुत अच्छी बात बताई ना कि this whole thing we can control our life, we can control our thoughts, we can always be positive and we can move on. And this Lucy movie is just a metaphor. This is just an idea to tell the humanity जो अल्लाह ताला ने खुद बोला है कि अल्लाह ताला ने हमको एक अपना हिस्सा दिया है.
Exactly.
ठीक है, एक गिफ्ट दिया है. We all are gifted. ऐसा नहीं कि किसी के पास ज्यादा किसी के पास कम. We all are gifted, and the gift is the brain.
Yeah.
And how we use and we retain things is a mind, basically. And when he has given us his part, he is so powerful. Means we are also a little bit powerful. तो हमको वो सिर्फ आइडेंटिफाई करना है और उसको pass on.
Need to identify our potential in a right way.
That is
humanity.
That is the purpose of existence.
If I may just add very quick shortly, there's a research, I think I don't recall whether it's an American professor, Dr. Silver or someone, who has...
Jose Silva?
Not Jose Silva. Jose Silva is another giant in this area.
Right.
But this research claims that we human beings are not creature of this world.
Dr. John Gray.
Yeah, I think so. I can't recall it. उन्होंने कहा था कि मैं उसको शॉर्ट कर दूंगा. A cow, a crocodile, an elephant, they have no problem with the sun.
Yes.
They don't run for the shade. They have no problem with the humid air. They have no problem with the temperature. It's us humans who are having there should be AC, there should be
another part of that world.
There should be cars and all that. I'll come to that. And so this shows that our physiology is not actually meant for this planet. We were sent from someplace else, and we will be where we will be going. We'll be utilizing then what we can't utilize now.
We are not the aborigines of the this thing.
Yeah. There's a question. Yes.
I would like to know, is it a relationship between NLP and psychology?
Psychology and NLP.
Yes, and also artificial intelligence, and how can we fuse those three to improve ecology treatment
Okay.
approach.
How can you benefit from all these three?
Yes.
Right? Okay. Yes, psychology and NLP has a relation, a very strong relation, because in psychology you understand the disorders or the personality problems and all that. Okay, NLP is more about how to treat them without using the drugs. Okay, without using the chemical induction, how to treat them, how to correct your thought process. Okay, if I'm in a depression, I may receive anti-depression drug from a medical doctor. An NLP practitioner will tell you, okay, what is causing, what problems are causing this, and how to treat that without the drug as far as possible. Artificial intelligence is one thing which is coming in the society, and it's growing. And the self-learning artificial intelligence is also growing. But you see, like I explained, if God has given you a mind that can process an image in 13 milliseconds, that means it has the capacity of processing 13,000 images per second. But we don't do it through our conscious mind. That's one thing. One advice would be use the artificial intelligence, but don't rely or trust it completely. Okay? Because the moment you shift your trust from the intelligence that God has given you to the trust that the machine brain has, okay, that's where the problem will start to begin. You should have your own analytical skills, own analytical thinking to assess what the AI is giving you, okay? And trust me, your nature or your instinct gives you the answer. This appears right, this feels good. God, Allah Ta'ala, has given the intuition to every human being. You know, once there was a question which was asked that what is the definition of a sin? Okay, how can you define a sin? So one of our holy figures, Hazrat Ali, Ahmed, he gave a very best definition for that. He says, anything that you do but you cannot talk about it publicly or to anyone, that you do that. Consider that as a sin. Okay? So, it's the intuition and the internal compass is always there. That tells you, use the AI for the best benefit, but then again, if you are an NLP expert and if you are a good NLP therapist, you are more used to of tapping and knowing and using the potential of your own brain, and that way you can assess the AI outcome in a better way. That's where NLP gives you an edge. As a normal human being, yes, you can also do that. But NLP or these kind of mind sciences, they give you the edge to do a better comparison. Okay. So my contact information is there. If you or anybody who is watching online can get in touch with me.
So thank you very much for such a mind-blowing workshop.